goodness.
Don't blame us for any side effects.
You thrilled our fans throughout the postseason with a great performance.
Gwynn and Chris are ready to go.
Indeed, we are ready to go. Welcome in to Gwynn and Chris, Tony Gwynn Jr., Chris Ello, Matthew Skraby. And indeed, we have a 3-hour show ahead. You get to listen to the round table that took place earlier today at 5 o'clock. But meanwhile, gentlemen, how are you guys today?
Well, I have a feeling, Tony Gwynn Jr., that I am a little more relaxed than you are. For those who don't know, Tony is as busy as a one-arm paper hanger today. He is I don't even know what a one-arm paper hanger is, but I've heard people say that before. Tony is efforting, and, you know, he's the commissioner of our fantasy football league. And tonight is our draft a little bit later in the evening. And that means every player in the league today has had at least one issue or one problem or two questions or couldn't find this or couldn't didn't know how to do that. And so I've been, on the chat with you guys all day, just kind of following along as Tony's trying to get everybody situated for tonight.
I've resisted on many occasions responding because I didn't want to seem like, right. You know what?
Yeah, you're trying to be nice about it, but
but some of it is comical. I mean, it
really is. It's like the ninth year we've done this thing. So come on.
I don't know that I actually had to do anything other than just let it sit for a minute before we eventually would get another text saying, never mind, I figured it out. And so you just kind of roll from there.
Well, Skraby had a good point. He said earlier to me, he said, if I have a question about something and something online like that, I actually go online, go into the, web page or site and try to figure it out.
I'm not Google.
It's always there.
I am not Google.
Yeah. And, so Skraby's upset at everybody else in the league already.
No, I'm just saying,
started yet. So
Sam Levitt texted me.
Oh boy, here we go.
During the roundtable.
He's taking aim at Sammy Levitt.
During the roundtable, what time's the draft? I'm like, you're on the text message, dude. Like, come on.
Hey, it's only Sammy's second year in the league. Cut him a little slack.
He didn't even know about the draft until yesterday.
Cut him a little slack. He's a busy guy. He's got sports updates to do. But yeah, I know Tony's busy, and I know you'll be much more relaxed, Tony, after we get done later on tonight. But hey, it's a fun time of year. You got the baseball pennant races, and now everybody's getting ready for football. And you got the, I thought about wearing a little Aztec for Life war paint today to the show, but I figured if the boys can't beat Stony Brook without me, dressing up, we're going to have a problem. But it is the Aztec football opener tonight, college football swinging into gear. And so, it's a lot of fun stuff going on. A lot of goodies.
Yes, indeed. Aztecs later this week. Stony Brook. That is who the Aztecs will be taking
tonight.
on.
Do you know the mascot? Since you and Jesse do mascot things, do you know the mascot?
No, Stony Brook.
Nobody. Even Stony Brook has to double check.
The Seawolves.
Seawolves are streaking into town tonight.
A fake animal, it sounds like. All right, Seawolf.
A fake animal. Yeah.
They just haven't discovered one yet. Okay.
But, is that what it is?
I know Tony's with me on this. We do want to extend our best to Sean Lewis in year number 2. And
for sure,
I am upset. Honestly, I've been upset at Aztec, so-called Aztec fans. I think there are many who have, are willing to give Sean Lewis some, a year or two to try to get this thing up and rolling. And I think he deserves at least that. But it seemed like a lot of people have already kind of given up on the program after a 3-9 season. I don't think that's fair. I think if you're an Aztec fan, this team gave you 12 straight years, or the program gave you 12 straight years of a bowl game and gave you some pretty good football and some pretty good players and, lots of great games. And so let's give Sean Lewis a chance, support the guy, go out and, try to root this team on. There's no reason that in year 2, maybe they'll be a whole lot better. You don't know in college football anymore.
I guess we need to break this one real quick.
Oh, wow. Wait, man, we need a sounder.
Did you miss the sounder?
Football Talk on 97.3 The Fan is presented by Paramount Plus. You can't count on much these days, but you can always count on Sundays with the NFL on CBS and Paramount Plus. Watch your local NFL games every Sunday on CBS and Paramount Plus all season long. Visit ParamountPlus.com/NFL to get started today. The saga has come to an end. Micah Parsons, no longer a Cowboy. He'll be putting on the green and gold. The cheeseheads out there are celebrating as Micah Parsons gets traded to the Packers.
Wow.
Yowzers.
That's big time, Tony.
In conference,
I got to be honest with you. We're pretty quick with this news, and I want to make sure it's real.
I'm looking at Adam Schefter.
Okay, good, because I'm on ESPN, who Adam Schefter works for, and it's not even on their website yet.
He's not on there yet, huh?
Yeah, I'm a little concerned, but if Adam Schefter says it must be.
It says they've already come to an agreement with him,
nope,
too.
I just saw it come across my ESPN deadline thing.
All right, well,
4 years, $188 million is the agreement.
So he'll get a bunch of money. We don't know yet who the Packers had to give, or probably a 5th-round pick. Probably that's the old standard in the National Football League. You just
make it two. Make it two.
Yeah, give me one of the
two.
Yeah, we'll give you two. We'll give you one this year and one next year. Give us one of the great players in the history of the game. Okay, perfect. So we'll see what the trade entails.
That's wild.
Yeah, Jerry Jones said he had made that big offer. At least that was the word. You know, Jerry said that it was a 5-year, $40 million per year extension, which would have made him the highest paid non-quarterback in football. And Jerry, at least, you know, according to what, if you can believe Jerry, said Micah Parsons' team turned that all down. And Jerry said he wasn't making any more offers, and apparently he didn't. I think it is kind of interesting to me that it's the Packers. It makes me think of many years ago when the Chargers had a great wide receiver in the Fouts era named John Jefferson. This guy was, I'm telling you, he was with the Winslow teams, Tony, and this guy made acrobatic catches all over the field. He was ahead of his time, and every year he came in for a contract extension, or wanted to renegotiate. And on about the 3rd or 4th straight year that he wanted to renegotiate, the owner said, just trade him to Green Bay. I do not want to hear from him ever again. Send him to Siberia. And they did. They traded John Jefferson to Green Bay, and he pretty much disappeared up there, and his career, petered out. But I don't think that's the same here. I mean, Green Bay is a viable club, So I don't think Jerry Jones is trying to make any point here, just assuming this is the best package he felt he could get. Whatever it is.
Jerry's tripping. Jerry's tripping. Jerry's doing right. I'm just saying, first of all, I don't. There's nothing that we've seen from the Cowboys that would tell us that Jerry's being honest with us in terms of how this whole negotiation went down.
True that.
I get the sense he tried to negotiate without an agent, and when the agent got involved, he balked at it, and because of that, he was willing to get rid of Micah Parsons in the end, and that is insane to me. It really is. I wonder. I would love to hear any word on what they got back for it.
Nothing yet. Does say that $120 million of it is fully guaranteed. And Parsons is indeed now the highest paid non-quarterback.
Hey,
$47 million
NFL
a year.
History. Yeah.
The Packers just got really good. I mean,
if they weren't already.
Yeah, I mean, Love is an up and coming quarterback. I think he's going to get better this year. I think they got some weapons there. Now you put this maniac on the outside, and he's going after.
And he's got something to prove, right? He wants to show Jerry and the world that Jerry blew it by letting him go. So he's going to be highly motivated. Yeah,
that's a big time move, right? Right before the season gets ready to start. It
changes a lot of things. I mean, already the NFC North last year was certainly considered one of the top divisions in football. 3 teams made the playoffs. The Lions were, until they, ran into that. Washington game, the Lions were the best team in the NFC. The Vikings were 14-3 until they came out to LA and had a bad game. And the Packers were in the playoffs as well. And now you still got the Bears with Caleb Williams and now Ben Johnson going over there. And now you add Micah Parsons to that division. Woo.
Yeah.
Tough.
Yeah,
tough.
Yeah. So I mean, we were going to talk Padres to start this deal, but this was pretty big news coming down.
Yeah, for
so
sure.
we had to pivot.
Yeah.
But we're definitely going to get into some Padre talk. Kirk Kenny joins us a little bit later on in the show. As I said, you got the roundtable coming.
No, I wanted to just see.
That was strange.
I didn't mean to interrupt. I kind of stopped in the middle, and I was like, "Oh no, I'm interrupting." And then it was all right.
I'm not gonna lie. I thought it was just me. I was like,
I'm
that seemed a
glad.
little weird.
I'm glad that I can entertain you guys. Here's what I wanted to entertain you with. Okay, stop it. I looked this up. I have entertaining stuff
You're
for
gonna have
you
to clip
here.
that.
Yeah, I'm sure he will. Put it next to the Commander sounder that I had a long time ago.
Name and logo.
Yeah. Here's what I wanted to say before I rudely, wrecked it. I think everybody, any football fan now, is going to want to circle September 28th. Sunday night
Packers,
football game.
Yeah.
Packers at Cowboys. So that's already now the game of the year, or one of the games of the year.
Micah just put out a whole statement about how his heart is in Dallas and he grew up a Cowboys
he's
fan.
Heartbroken to be traded?
Yeah.
Get out. I don't believe that for a second. Does anybody believe that?
Nah, he ain't upset at all. He just got paid. He just got some money trees. And so he's going to be living nice.
Yeah.
Especially if he's gonna live in Wisconsin. It's a little bit cheaper there.
I believe our the leadership of our country has told us that gas prices in places like that are under $2 a gallon. So
Mike, is that true? Because I need to move there immediately.
I don't know if it's true. I just know it's been said.
Okay, because I paid $4.99 the other day, which is a lot.
I'm sure you did.
All right, let's get to break. On the other side, we'll talk some Padres. Day off today, set to take on the Minnesota Twins after losing 2-3 to Seattle. We'll get into all of that and more when we return. More Gwynn and Chris on the other side.
Hey, San Diego, it's
And show opening with a bombshell today. Gwynn and Chris, 97.3 The Fan, 2217. That kind of news is why you should be on time to the program. We get underway at 2 o'clock. If you did just happen to tune in, probably the biggest news in the National Football League that you're going to get this offseason and maybe for a while. Micah Parsons has been traded from the Dallas Cowboys to the Green Bay Packers. And Skraby has the haul that is going back to the Cowboys. The Packers did have to give up, along with a $188 million contract, 4 years, quite a bit to get him.
Packers had to pay for him this time. You know, we always see these big name players get traded for like 2 fifth-round picks and a bag of peanuts or something. But he was actually traded for 2 first-round picks and defensive tackle Kenny Clark. So they got 3 things in return for the 1.
But the Cowboys are going to – I'll be honest with you. The Cowboys – I mean, we're talking about the Packers for a second. You know, they look like now the Lions, the Vikings, if the Vikings can get something out of a rookie quarterback to keep up.
That division is crazy, by the way.
And we got – right. And Caleb with the Bears. So that division is going to be good. I'll be honest with you. The Cowboys are in there with the Giants. And, I mean, they're not as good as the Commanders and the Eagles already. And now with this, could the Cowboys even get, like, threatened by the Giants at the bottom of the division? I think they could, be honest with you. I don't know how good Dallas is going to be.
I think their offense is going to be prolific with the 2 wideouts.
Yeah, they do have Pickens and CeeDee Lamb.
Pickens and CeeDee Lamb. I think they're going to sling it, but I think they're going to have to sling it because I don't know that that defense, the thing it struggled with last year was being able to stop the run. They were getting gouged by the run game. I don't know that they really addressed that this year. Certainly, you would think losing Micah Parsons doesn't help the situation anymore.
No.
And so, you know, we'll see. This is an interesting move by the Dallas Cowboys. They do get 2 first-round picks, so I mean, maybe in a couple of years, or depending on when those picks are. I'm assuming one's next season. You're going to be able to address, you know, and get that deep. Try to find another, you know, defensive player that can make that type of difference. But that's a year away. In terms of this year, I don't know how they got better. I mean, I don't know anything about the Kent Clark cat. I mean, he might be the reason to stop he's a defensive tackle, if I'm not mistaken. So he might be the answer they have to stopping the run game this year, but we're going to find out shortly.
Hopefully he's the next Reggie White as far as the Cowboys are concerned. All right, so that's the big news. This hour, 97.3 The Fan, brought to you by Islands Restaurants. Man, did we have a great time there a couple of weeks ago. Summer refreshment, paradise ambiance, and the best burgers in town. I'll back that up. Like the Big Wave with cheese and fresh cut fries. They are the best. $10 for all of that. Now for a limited time only. Visit one of our Islands restaurants throughout Southern California today. Dine in only for that package of food, which Skraby and I demolished a couple of weeks ago.
Totally
can't go wrong at Islands.
Not with that burger and the fries.
I had the protein bowl, which was very good too. What?
Listen to you trying to be Mr. Healthy over here.
I did. I had you could watch me eat it on the stream
as I was munching the Big Wave burger.
Yeah, I looked at Chris and I was like, ha, 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 ha.
Skinny Chrisello here.
Skinny, but bulking up Chrisello here.
No. Padres did lose the series to the Mariners. 4-3 the final. I think there was a bunch of different ways we can go here. I think people might be overreacting a little to Darvish and saying, well, he had another bad start. He made a bad pitch. I mean, he's got to keep away from the 3-run homer. That has hurt him in each of those, the Dodger game and now yesterday. The bullpen kept you in the game once again. And you're going up against a pitcher who had been shutting everybody down the entire year. You got him out of the game. You got within 2 runs and had a chance to tie. Then you got within 1 run and had a chance to tie. So to me, you get on the plane and go to Minnesota. I mean, that's pretty much it, Tony. I think the disappointment, maybe if there is any, is the fact that the Reds picked a hell of a time to be swept for the first time all year. Come on, Reds. All year they hadn't been swept, and they go to LA and they get punked there. So, the Padres are 2 games back, but I didn't have big problems with the Seattle series. I'd like to win them all, of course, but it's a good team up there, Tony.
Yeah, no, it is. It's a really good team. And Padres' first team to get Brian Wu out of there before 6 innings. He had that consecutive streak. They did some good things offensively against a really top-tier pitcher. Had one of his bad ones. And I wouldn't even say it was bad. He, as you said, he made a couple mistakes, and those mistakes happened to have come, after, some runners are on base. And, he ended up only having the one walk. But outside of that, he threw the ball. He threw the ball pretty decent. He's having the kind of good start, bad start.
Yeah.
In terms of the runs he's given up, his previous start against the Dodgers, he was like old Yu Darvish we've all seen, and then he started out that way, it seemed, against the Mariners, and then made a couple mistakes, and so that Mariners team was a good team, no doubt. Offensively, they are a much different team. That series went nothing like anybody expected it to go. In terms
there's a lot
of
more
the
runs
offenses.
Scored.
The offenses were on it, and so. Turn the page, get ready for Minnesota Twins, who, have basically sold off all their players at the deadline and, aren't necessarily playing the greatest baseball. So you got a chance to maybe take advantage of that.
Yeah, Padres have been punishing the poor teams all year, and hopefully they'll keep that up here. Not only this weekend, I should say, against Minnesota, but the Padres basically have a run now of teams that are under 500, right? They get Minnesota, they get Baltimore coming in here, they get Colorado, and then they'll actually have Colorado 7 times in a 10-day stretch with the Reds in between at home. So, I don't think they look at it like that. We do as fans. Oh, this is a big group of games. You can win a bunch of these. They just got to go out and, take care of it tomorrow night. Cortez will be on the mound coming off his best start of the year. Pivetta on Saturday. And let's see. Jackson Merrill hopefully back this weekend. The Sunday, by the way, the Sunday game, if anybody wants to look ahead, it's a 10 a.m. Roku game Sunday morning. And to get everybody in a bad mood with that, because none of us can watch the game unless we can figure out the Roku world.
Well, considering how long it took you to tweet a link today, I think you're in trouble. So
you're just always looking for a shot.
I wish I had the recording of Chris. He was like, "Nah, I can't select the whole thing."
It was a disaster. But I got it out there, and we'll tell you. We'll tell you what that's all about here as we go along, because we got our NFL eliminator pool is out, and get everybody signed up for that. But yeah, that's coming up this weekend, the Roku game on Sunday morning in Minnesota. I was pleased with one thing, Tony, in this series.
What you got?
And I think, because I don't know that I've been critical. Maybe I have. Fernando, not really hitting the ball with the kind of authority that we've seen. And we've talked about the new Fernando and the other Fernando, and he has been doing a lot of things well. And I said, I still I want some more slug. Well, I got it in this series. I got home runs. I got doubles off the wall. I got flyouts to the warning track, which I hadn't really been seeing for a while. And, I don't think we're going to lose the old Fernando or the new Fernando, the one that, is getting walks and taking some pitches. I just like to see him put a hurting on some baseballs, Tony. I think he probably liked it too.
I would say it's funny how one home run can change the perspective.
No, I didn't say one home run. I said he doubled off the wall. He flied out to the warning track. I hadn't seen those things either. I'm taking more than one swing into account.
He's definitely had his doubles. That was how he was keeping his slugging up, but he hadn't had the homer. But either way, he swung the bat good during the course of that series. He certainly swung it with more authority, and the results were good. He's on base. He was still getting his walks. I'm sure the homer for him was a mental kind of like relaxation a little bit, because I'm sure he's been hearing it or at least feeling the kind of pressure in terms of finally getting a homer. But I thought the Padres swung the bat. It wasn't just Toddy. I thought everybody, really outside of Manny, swung the bat great. And even Manny, he still ended up with 3 or 4 hits in that series. So, the offense wasn't the issue in this particular series.
And that usually is never the case, right?
No.
Usually when they score, they win. So
the offense has been good. They've just two games in this series that they scored 4 or more and ended up
they went 1-1. Yeah. Well, they got 16 runs. They got 16 runs against a pretty good team on the road in a tough place to hit.
Yeah.
You'd like to believe they win 2 out of 3 instead of lose 2 out of 3, but it just didn't work out this time. I thought David Morgan picked a bad time for maybe his the only bad outing I can think of this year. That was in the first game. And, Jason Adam, God, I hate to blame the guy for giving up a home run to a guy that has 42 home runs. I mean, Eugenio Suarez can hit home runs. And, Jason Adam was the victim of one, but the Padres came back and won that game. And so all in all, again, if the Reds would have cooperated and we didn't fall 2 games back, it wouldn't seem such a big deal, I say.
Anybody can get got at the major league level. Even Jason Adam occasionally can get got. And, Suarez has been struggling prior to that series. He got himself going. You got to give him some credit as well.
For sure, we will do that. I don't know if anybody noticed it. A glaring omission from that Padre chat was the fact that Arise didn't bat second yesterday, and Laureano did. And there's a big story in the paper about all that again today, Tony. So, but I personally am tired of talking about it. I really am.
That wasn't an omission. We can get into it when we return.
We'll get to it. I'm just not really ready for it yet. I have to get geared up for another Arise discussion. So we will definitely get to one. But the Aztecs football opener tonight at Snapdragon Stadium. Kirk Kenny, our guy on the scene, has the latest. He also has a date for this year's Holiday Bowl, and it's not going to be played this year. We'll explain when Gwynn and Chris returns.
4:36 on the clock, 4:36 here in Minneapolis. Tony Gwynn Jr., Chris Ello, Matthew Skraby talking some Padres. Biz talking Micah Parsons getting dealt for a couple of first rounders. That seems about the right type of
seemed like a fair return on the
right return is what I was
the
looking
investment there. Parsons goes to the Pack, and we'll see. Does that? I mean, I think in the minds of a lot of people, that's going to make the Packers put them up there with the Eagles and the Lions in the NFC.
For sure.
So I mean, they were in the playoffs already last year, and now you add this guy. So that's a big deal, certainly. Dodgers are off. Padres are off, so we don't need to worry about anything in regards to the race in the West. Well, Dodgers I think the Dodgers have Arizona this weekend, while the Padres are there in Minneapolis. How is I've not ever been to Minneapolis, Tony. Go ahead.
Real
you
quick.
Have something?
Yes, the Diamondbacks took down the Brew Crew today.
Yeah, they're playing okay.
And in wild card conversation, remember Padres right now chasing the top wild card as well, so to be able to host a series. Chicago's tied with the Giants 3-3 right now in the 8th. Chicago's a team ahead of the Padres right now.
They're a game and a half up on us at the moment for
first wild card.
For the first wild card. Yes, so a little help from the Giants would be appreciated there. Diamondbacks, they're playing okay. Started, by the way, today in Milwaukee for the Arizona Diamondbacks. Starting pitcher, old friend Tony Gwynn Jr.
Yep.
Name popping out of nowhere.
Yeah, one of our favorite Friday guys of all time.
One of our favorite Padres. Always with a smile on his face. Always excited.
Oh,
so happy to be here. Nabil Krismat get the call today in Milwaukee and beat the Brewers. So there you go.
Nice job, Nabil.
Nabil Krismat. It's fun when guys like that kind of reappear, I don't know where he was toiling, but he's back. And he was toiling. He was toiling somewhere. Now he's back in the big league. So good for him. Yes, Diamondbacks at Dodgers this weekend, while the Padres are in Minneapolis. What is are you right by the Mississippi River there? Are you on the St. Paul side, the Minneapolis side, or do you even know any of that?
I'm assuming I'm assuming I'm on the Minneapolis side.
Okay.
Like I see US Bank Stadium. I see what else? I don't see anything else actually.
A snowdrift.
I don't see anything else.
Leftover from the winter.
I know the Target Center is right down the street.
Okay.
Which I'm gonna head to after we get done to the show.
Gonna enjoy a little Target Center action. By the way, while we wait for Kirk Kenny, speaking of Kenny, how was your visit with Brian Kenny? We played a little of it on the show yesterday. You handled it.
It was cool.
You handled it with class and aplomb. I want to congratulate you. Being as he is, the world's biggest Tony Gwynn senior fan, and you kind of, were good. So I was good by you.
He definitely was very complimentary of Jesse and I's broadcast.
Smart.
And I also have to remember I'm still a representative of the Padres. So when I get asked to do these things, I have to put my
best foot forward.
I have to put my radio mindset, radio host mindset to the side.
Yeah.
And I have another job to do, and that's represent the Padres in the best way I can.
He did ask Tony about Arise, and we're going to talk Arise, you and I. But he asked you about Arise and whether Arise hits the ball too often. And maybe that is why his batting average is down this year. I thought that was a fun question that only an analytics nerd could come up with. But
I think he was thinking. I think what he was trying to say was, should he try to hit for more powers? What I think he was ultimately trying to say. But we'll get into that a little bit later. I think Kirk
is here,
is ready for us. Hello, Kirk. Man, it's been a little bit of time. How are you, my friend?
Hey, gentlemen, how's it going? It's a little bit of wet weather up here in the North County.
Yeah, what is up, really? Kirk? I mean, you would have thought the Aztecs would order up a little better weather for the opener tonight, but
well, some fans have been complaining that there's no canopies for shade. I guess today they're complaining there's no canopies.
Oh, no
stands
kidding. Kirk, you are so on it, man. We are such a complaining society, probably led by us on the radio. But, yeah, you're right. There's no shade, and now tonight you'll need, the cover maybe for rain. So.
Well, I always joke that every day of a game day, I put what the temperature is going to be. And if it's a night game, I put all the seats will be in shade. And immediately somebody put out a question on, would it be worthwhile having canopies? And I tweeted back a guy with a big, Brock umbrella hat. And I said, I think this would be a lot cheaper way to go.
Wear one of those umbrella hats. Yeah.
Kirk, let me ask you, obviously Aztecs in action tonight. What's the feel around camp? What's the feel going into this first game?
The team's been very positive and optimistic. They've done a lot of intensive work at trying to build a better bond than they had last year when the staff came in a little bit late for recruiting wise and building a team. And so I've just seen a lot of positive energy come out of that. And then also just looking at various positions, I think the quarterback position's upgraded. I think the wide receiver position is upgraded. They've got 3 really good running backs, and the offensive line looks stronger than last year, and they've got almost everybody back from the starting defense. So it bodes pretty well.
Kirk is with us. The Aztecs opening tonight. It was 6:30 or 7 o'clock for the kick, Kirk? I want to make sure I give people the right time out there.
7 o'clock.
7 o'clock for the kick tonight out at where do you think Sean Lewis is? Let's just, kind of on a personal and then working with the team. Where do you think he is from, let's say, last year's opening day against Texas A&M, whoever.
Commerce.
Right, yeah. Texas A&M, whoever, and tonight. Where do you think he's grown, or, where would you put him?
I think, well, for one, I think he comes into this with a lot more confidence. That's just the sense I've gotten.
Right.
I think, the trip around the block last year was eye-opening for him in several ways. They just didn't perform the way he would have expected, and especially second half of the season, they lost 6 straight games, and I think he was just really stunned by that. That's why I think it had him going back and reflecting what they could have done better, and where they've really made an emphasis on creating a stronger connection within the team.
Kirk, obviously, it was a kind of a mixed bag. I don't really know what the identity of the team was offensively last year. What in year 2? What is it that we should expect to see from an offensive standpoint in terms of the identity?
I think they'll be pretty balanced. I would hope they'll be more explosive. A lot of this is just from watching practice. You just see guys that look like they can be playmakers. Now it's going to be translating that to the real game when the bell goes off. So and they've got, another year under the system that Sean Lewis runs. So I think all of that put together should be a more efficient offense. One thing that really held them back last year is from the get-go, their opening game, they made 16 penalties.
I was going to ask about that. Yeah.
Yeah. That kind of bothered them throughout the season. They ended up finishing, I think, second to only New Mexico for most penalized average per game.
So what do you do if you're a coach? I can't imagine there's a coach anywhere, from Pop Warner all the way up to the NFL that doesn't tell his team, let's not commit any penalties, right?
Well, he made them run laps, so I'm sure that will correct it.
Oh my God, they ran a lot of laps then. They ran laps. My goodness,
they're very well conditioned.
No kidding, man. They should be able to be good in the fourth quarter. Yeah, the penalties was I think it was frustrating for the fans, and I'm sure for them last year. All right, get us a little more in tune with our quarterback, the new guy from Michigan. He played in the national championship team. Said all the right things. Looks like he's, going to be a guy that's, as you said, an upgrade. Just give us a little more on who we're rooting for and a couple playmakers on offense that we can get behind, Kirk.
So the new quarterback's Jaden Denegal. Definitely looks the part. He's 6'5", 230.
Wow.
Very mobile in the pocket, can make some things happen with his legs. But first thing everybody says is just he has a very strong arm. We'll see tonight how accurate that arm is. But seems to really command the offense, and everybody's been very positive and feels like it's an upgrade at the position after having true freshman Danny O'Neill there last year. As far as some playmakers, the big name coming back among the receivers is Jordan Napier, who had a big breakout true freshman year. He had 44 catches last year and 4 touchdowns. So he's the first one. Then they have a couple transfers. A guy named Miles Kit Denton, who's a speedy guy who can get open deep. And then another one, Donovan Brown, who has similar attributes.
Kirk, what can you tell us about the Pac-12? It seems like there's been at least some type of movement happening here in terms of television rights. Have they got any closer to completing this conference yet?
They're definitely getting closer and closer. It was key to get Texas State involved because they needed to have an 8th team for football. We'll still see. I think that'll probably be that's it for the first year as far as membership for football. They did add another network for their TV rights. When people keep saying Pac-12, I'm still not convinced that it's going to be all that as far as, the prestige factor. We'll end up seeing in a few months, I guess, what their TV package produces for each team. But I think people should kind of temper their expectations a little bit going into next year. But I think, I don't know what though, the Aztecs could have done if they stay in the Mountain West. I think they kind of know what they're getting with that. And the best thing I can say for where they're going is I think it positions them for 5 years from now for maybe having an even better opportunity, but we'll just have to see how that plays out.
Anything with the Holiday Bowl? I wanted to ask you. I liked your. Yes, I know. I liked your lead in your story today. This year's Holiday Bowl will not be played this year. Tell us a little bit about what went into that decision by the folks there, Mark Neville and company, to have the game after the New Year's this year.
Well, probably more than a dozen of the games are owned by ESPN, so they really control the calendar for most of the bowl games. The Holiday Bowl is one of the rare bowl games that's on Fox. So Fox took its time kind of finding the best spot that it wanted to play the game. And January 2nd was the day that they settled on, which I think will be a pretty good date. As Mark Neville brought up with me, their typical has been between Christmas and New Year's. And it seems like it's problematic a lot of times. The last several years, it's been either on the 27th or the 28th. And so especially for fans, you have issues with travel around Christmas. And this will get rid of some of that. People will still be off because of the New Year's holiday, and it's on a Friday. So I think it bodes well for being better attended by both local fans and those who are out of town.
Well, Kirk, as always, man, we appreciate you coming on, spending some time with us. Aztecs in action tonight, 7 p.m. And hopefully this is a step in the right direction for the program. Kirk, appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Kirk Kenny, Union Tribune, breaking down some of the Aztecs football squad as we get ready for a new season there, Chris.
Kirk is my guy, and he does a great job for the Aztecs. I'm going to keep saying what I say until people start to come around to the Aztecs football a little bit. I really believe they've given us a ton of great football for a while, and I think a lot of people kind of just feel like there's a lot of disharmony. I don't know if that's even quite
disharmony.
Yeah, just people aren't ecstatic about this, and I don't think it's fair. I think you got to give Sean Lewis a year, and let's see what we can do this year. And I think he can do some things.
I feel like there's like two different things. I think there's definitely a segment of folks out there that are like, Sean Lewis needs to get it done in year 2 or else.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. That doesn't make any sense. And then the other thing that you talk about in terms of people being unsatisfied with the program in itself, it has given us a lot. But in today's society, it is a very much like Janet Jackson said, "What have you done for me lately?" And and that's how everybody tends to operate. I don't know that there are as many patient folks as you and I there, Chris, in terms of kind of letting the program, kind of take its time, not take its time, but take a normal amount of time to at least be able to assess if things are going in the right direction. And so, I think that's just kind of part. I think it also, I think the heavy prices at Snapdragon also play a part in some of the folks feeling a little.
It's fair,
a little irritated.
It's fair, and the Aztecs, I think, have heard it, and I don't know that they've responded to it in a way that a lot of fans feel is
just being
right.
real. I mean, that is. I think that plays a part in some of the feelings towards the program a little bit.
Yeah, I think I don't think you're wrong. I mean, I've heard from people, and I don't have the numbers to back this up, but I have people that have kids that play in SEC schools and go to the games on the weekends and tell me that the tickets they get in the SEC are right in par with what the Aztecs are charging. Now, I don't know that the Aztecs can say that they fairly match up with the SEC in terms of, the product. That's not their fault.
Yeah.
It's just what it is.
Right.
So
right.
You're right. A lot of people are thinking those ways, Tony. I think it's fair.
It certainly feels like it. Did you guys see Dion's idea for NFL style playoff bonuses for these players in
the Big
college?
Five.
You see that, Skraby?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, let me shut up. Sorry.
No, I mean, I think he has a good idea. I do.
Corey Seager had an appendectomy.
That's too bad.
There you go.
That sucks. By the way,
doesn't sound too fun.
I've not experienced it myself. I remember when I was younger, my mom's brother was staying with his burst at the house. He was in like crazy pain. We had to get him to the hospital. It was crazy.
That is crazy. I can't imagine having that thing burst in like a house and
it's all bad. Does it feel like for college football should be starting right now? I am like blown away listening to like all of the breakdown of college football and how it's happening this weekend.
It's late
basically.
August.
I mean, tonight, really.
Yeah, it's late August. Used to be a September thing for sure. I'm excited about the game Saturday. Obviously, I think everybody is, but I'm not. They're excited for different reasons than I am, and you are, Tony, and because everybody's going to tune in to watch Arch Manning. This is the biggest deal in the college football. You think there's no other player in the entire country, but he's the team they're playing. Ohio State is quarterbacked by our guy, Julian Sayin.
Yeah.
So I'm really rooting for him to. He could make a huge name for himself in his very first game because people are going to be tuning in to watch the one guy, and maybe Julian can steal the spotlight. That'd be something.
National spotlight should be
for sure.
It's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be crazy for sure. All right, let's get the break. On the other side, little daily gambit coming your way. More Gwynn and Chris on the other side. Woo-hoo. I said that already. Ladies and gentlemen, Manny Machado has joined the show. Manny, welcome. How are you, my friend?
I'm good.
I guess we got to start with the most important part. I mean, you reached a pretty big milestone, hit 2,000. You had 2004 now. You hit 350 early in the year. I mean, at what point in the offseason, at what point at all does this start to become something that you're actually thinking about? Because, I mean, that's a lot of hits, man. You ain't thinking about that from the beginning.
I knew the 3,000 was coming. I mean, I knew both of them going into the season where I was at, how many I was missing to get to those milestones. But thinking about it, I mean, right to like when you got 2 hits left, I'm not gonna lie, I've been searching for those 2 hits for a while, and man, I said it earlier this week. I mean, it's really hard to get a hit in the big leagues.
Yeah,
and that made me realize that just looking for those 2 hits, you're I mean. The ones before have come. I mean, I hit 3 yesterday. That was, it kind of just came. But when you're searching for it, when you want to hit those 2 hits, man, it's really hard. But finally you get it, and it's kind of like, all right, let's go. Now it's kind of let's get it past it and enjoy it.
Did it weigh on you as you got closer? I mean, you started about 100 away when you came into
100.
the season. Did it weigh on you as you started to get closer?
No, not really. Not really. I think when it got really close, I think when it was when it kind of started thinking about it, the last couple, and then it didn't help that I kind of got into a little fun going into, Cincinnati and Philadelphia. I'm like, man, those are the two places that you want to get hot. I'm like, all right, I'm good. I'm going to these two places, get a few homers, get a few knocks, hopefully, get it done on the road. And then, you go to Cincy, we get almost no hit by Nick. And then that whole road trip kind of just went to spiral and I couldn't really get it. But you know what? I think everything happens for a reason. Yeah. It kind of felt good to do it in front of the home crowd and get the standing ovation and do it in front of the people that support you every single day. So I think that it kind of worked out even better.
Talking to Manny Machado here on 97.3 The Fan for Friar Friday. And one of the things I love about you is that you love the game and the history of the game and the history behind the stats and all that stuff. And do you ever get to stop and think about 40 years from now, 30, 40 years from now? I know I'm going to be telling my unborn grandchildren that I'm sitting here interviewing you right now because I think you're going to be in the Hall of Fame. But do you ever give yourself the ability to stop and think about how you're going to be remembered?
Not really, honestly. Not really. I love living in the moment. I people ask me, how's it feel to hit 2,000 hits? Were you even thinking about that? And honestly, I kind of don't even want to reflect on it yet. I think I kind of want to wait for that and kind of look back and really realize, how cool all of this is. I kind of just, that's how I live life. I like living in the moment. I just enjoy every single day I come. Today's a brand new day, put yesterday in the past and enjoy what's today going to bring us. Right. And, I kind of just try to live by that way. But hopefully, one day I definitely want to look back. I know they're pretty cool numbers. They're pretty cool things I've been doing so far. But I kind of just want to keep living in the moment for a little bit more.
How long can you see yourself playing in your 40s?
I got no choice. I got no choice.
Deeper into your 40s, can you see yourself?
How this game is going, probably not. But yeah, I'm gonna try to. Look, there's two sides of things, right? There's obviously I'm gonna be a little bit older. The game's gonna be younger. Game's probably gonna be faster. When I came up 10 years ago, it was average. You had two guys in the bullpen throwing 96. Right. You have two guys throwing 96 now, and everybody else is throwing harder than that. Right. Right. That's the lowest now at this point. So, is the game gonna be at that level when I'm in the 40s? Who knows? But on the flip side of that, there's going to be technology. There's going to be stuff that you can do a lot better to take care of your body a lot better. You're going to be able to recover faster. And I think, me knowing myself, I'm probably going to be ahead of that curve on trying to take care of my body as best as I can.
Talking to Manny Machado here on Friar Friday, 97.3 The Fan. And I want to know, because you hit number 2,000, was a hard hit single. Number 2001, a homer. Would you have switched those in your mind? Or are you happy with how it played out?
No, I think I'm good how it played out. I think it's better kind of just to have that moment for yourself and kind of just say, man, I would have preferred a double, honestly.
Okay.
I would have preferred a double than a single. But even before that, I was even telling Bogey, I walked out, I'm like, man, I think I'm going to butt. I think I'm going to butt one, just to kind of get a little closer to that 2000.
That would have been memorable if you would have bunted on your 2000 hit. Ladies and gentlemen, Manny Machado has joined the show. Manny, welcome. How are you, my friend?
I'm good.
I guess we got to start with the most important part. You reached a pretty big milestone, hit 2000, you had 2004 now, you hit 350 early in the year. At what point in the off season, at what point at all does this start to become something that you're actually thinking about? Because that's a lot of hits, man. You ain't thinking about that from the beginning.
I knew the 3,000 was coming. I knew both of them going into the season where I was at, how many I was missing to get to those milestones. But thinking about it, right to when you got two hits left.
Gwynn and Chris Ello. Tony Gwynn Jr.'s in, he believes he's in Minneapolis.
Minnesota.
Could be in St. Paul, but he doesn't think so. He's there, and that's where the Padres are as well. They'll play the Twins tomorrow, a little about 5:30ish or so tomorrow. Skraby, 5 o'clock.
I think it's 5:10 our time.
Thank you very much. 5:10 tomorrow. First of that 3-game series. Both the Padres and Dodgers are idle today. Padres did just get some good news, though, in the standings, thanks to Jung-Hoo Lee, who singled in the winning run in the bottom of the 9th inning. The Giants walk it off and beat the Cubs 4-3. So that means the Padres are now 1 game behind the Cubs for the top wild card spot. So good news.
Love it.
There. Phillies have come back to the pack as well, guys. They get swept by the Mets this week in New York. Phillies have lost 10 straight games at Citi Field. That has become their kryptonite there. They can't win there. So the Mets have crept back into it a little bit in the NL East.
I think the Phillies are in trouble. You lose your best pitcher, Zach Wheeler.
I don't
you
think
get
That's
back,
a gut punch, man.
You get back Aaron Nola, but Aaron Nola is not the same Aaron Nola.
As I said last week, he's pitching like Austin Nola. Let's get to some other picks and some other games coming up. Today's Daily Gambit is upon us.
Do you like money?
I think about money a lot.
Do you like money without doing anything?
Winning.
Do you want to make money while watching sports?
I think Washington is immortal luck.
Washington! Woohoo! If you answered yes, this is your segment. Just don't blame us when you lose.
Nothing is ever your fault.
It's your game. Take it.
Gwynn and Chris go through the top bets of the day in The Daily Gambit on 97.3 The Fan.
Daily Gambit is our daily sports betting segment here on Gwynn and Chris. Please, everybody, gamble responsibly. Chris has taken over commissionership of the Eliminator Challenge. So if you would like to go and sign up for that, go to @97.3 The Fan SD on Twitter or go to @ChrisElloSD on Twitter. And the link is there.
Yeah, we've already got some people signed up. Of course, the NFL season starts next Thursday. You can have some fun, get in there, pick a winner each week, try to stay alive. And, yeah, it's up and running. So
I have relinquished my commissionership
I don't really
duties.
understand what you're relinquishing exactly.
Well, just wait. Just wait until all those questions start pouring in.
What questions?
How do I find the link? What week is it? How do I make my pick? How do I save my pick? Can I see what I saved after I saved it?
All right, I'll tell everybody in advance if you have those problems. You're just not going to be in our league. Like, figure it out.
So you're not going to be in the league?
Yeah. I've already made my pick for week 1, my friend.
Oh, have you?
Yeah.
I'm in.
Take that.
But yeah, no, if you can't sign up, if you can't follow the link and figure out how to do the eliminator pool, because I think everyone knows how those work now, you just won't be in the
Contact Adam Klug.
Yes, call him. But anyway, we hope people will sign up and have some fun with our eliminator challenge at ChrisElloSD. You'll find the link right there. All right, we got, speaking of Aaron Nola, got him in action tonight for the Phillies. They're home to the Atlanta Braves. Phillies favored by 1.5. Braves pitcher, Cal Quantrill. Anybody even know he was with the Braves?
Yeah, what?
Yeah. He was with the Marlins. They let him go. The Braves picked him right up.
Huh.
And way he goes tonight in Philadelphia. The Cal Quantrill, he's the number 1 pick. Was he not by the Padres?
I think he was.
Yeah, I think he was too. It's faded a little bit is what's happened. Cal is not having a great year. 4-11 with the 5.51. But then Aaron Nola not having a very good year either. What do you like here? The Phillies are 4 games up on the Mets now. Scrape, why don't you go for it?
Okay.
Yeah, sure.
Phillies minus 1.5. I'm not going Phillies.
Okay,
I'm going
go
Braves.
Braves.
Yeah, I'm going Braves.
Tony, you got any thoughts here?
Is it in Atlanta or in
It's
Philly?
in Philly tonight, I believe.
Oh,
let me
give me the
double
Phils.
check that. Yes, in Philadelphia.
Give me the Phils.
Yeah, Quantrill has not been good. Either's Nola, but I'll take the Phillies. They got to win tonight. Yankees at White Sox, 9 runs over under. Yankees were batting for almost an hour yesterday in the 3rd inning, bottom of the 3rd inning.
Wow.
They hit 4 home runs. in one inning. I mean, it was just craziness.
Tony, as a fielder,
nuts.
when you go on an hour in the field, what do you do?
That must have got tiring for those guys.
I mean, it depends. In younger days, my frustration would be boiled over. It'd just be yelling stuff from the outfield. Probably not good stuff.
Yeah, the Yankees sent 15 batters to the plate, scored 9 runs, hit 4 home runs. It was
is just wait. You're just waiting for this inning to get just please end. Like anybody, make a play. Somebody.
Any thought? I know you can't, but any thought of while they're changing pitchers for the 3rd time in the inning, maybe just kind of sitting down in the outfield and resting for a minute.
Oh, definitely the knee. I mean, you definitely go to a knee.
Go to a knee. You're right. You can go to a knee.
By the 3rd pitching change. Oh, for sure. Like everybody's meeting.
Okay, you go to a knee.
I take that back. By the 3rd pitching change, left fielder and right fielder don't even want to make the walk to center field. So everybody just
kneels where they are.
Where they are. Yeah.
I was going to say, because it is not acceptable to just sit down. But the kneel is okay. That's acceptable.
I mean, it was acceptable for Zach Greinke to sit crisscross applesauce behind the pitching mound.
Well, was it really acceptable? Right. He did it. I don't know if it was acceptable.
Very strange.
Yankees at Sox. I think over 9 runs is a gimme. The way the Yankees have been swinging. Tony, 9 runs total for the game. Over.
Yeah, over.
Scrape.
I'm going to go over 2. The White Sox have shown some power this year. But they did put Luis Robert Jr. on the IL. So
how many games have the old I haven't checked in on the Shy Sox. They won 41 last year. They've won 48 this year.
Nice job.
They're in the clear. Good job, Will Venable. Attaboy, Will. Who has more total bases tonight in their game? Kyle Schwarber for the Phillies or Aaron Judge for the Yankees? Who has more total bases, Tony Gwynn Jr.?
I'm going to say Schwarber.
I got to go with Schwarber. I know Judge is great. He is. But Schwarber just looks like he's going to hit the ball out of the stadium every time he's up.
He really does.
Schwarber. How about you? Scrape, you want Judge? You can go alone here.
I will. I just want to see. Hold on real quick because I think Kyle Schwarber is in the middle of a slump.
Wow. Well,
is that right?
Yeah, in the last 15 games, he's hitting 175. Struck out 16 times.
Last I checked, Cal Quantrill's a pretty good slump buster.
I am going to go with.
You're going with Judge?
Judge.
You can have Judge. We have a second, Tony. Quick comment. Judge, or have you gone to the Cal Raleigh camp yet for MVP? American League.
I think it's too early.
Still too early?
I think it's definitely too early. Certainly, in my opinion, Cal should be ahead.
Really? You think he should even be ahead?
I do.
Yeah.
He's doing it from the catching position. I think that matters.
Yeah, it does. It should matter. But what matters the most, Don Orsillo pointed it out. You and I have talked about it a lot. The Yankees are on the East Coast, and Cal Raleigh's on the West. So we'll see.
They knocked out. When Cal's hitting them homers, they knocked out. They don't even know what happened.
Haven't seen any of them. All right, Aztecs are favored by 18.5. Skraby?
18.5.
Over the Seawolves, or whatever you call them.
The Stoned Brook Seawolves.
Right. 18.5. You ready to give that up?
I'm looking at the weather. It doesn't look like it's going to be a high-flying game tonight.
Listen to him.
It's raining here, Tony. Did you know that?
I did not know. I thought North County it was raining.
It's raining here a little bit.
I'm going to go with the Seawolves.
Get out of here.
They might lose by 17,
Get
but
out of here.
I have to see it before I start betting on the Aztecs.
Goodness.
I'm going with
I
the
respect
Wolves.
it, though. I respect it.
I'm much riding in San Diego State for you and I. Come on.
Yeah, go ahead. Thank you.
All right, one WNBA bet tonight. Minnesota continues to be the team in the WNBA, and the MVP candidate, Nafisha Collier, she goes up against Seattle tonight. Brianna Stewart, former MVP, returning to the lineup for New York. She's against Washington tonight. The bet, Collier -6 points versus Brianna Stewart.
Guess where your boy is going after this.
That's where you're going.
Oh,
to
you're
see
going.
the
Okay.
Minnesota-
That's where I'm going.
I like it.
Our
Tony.
guy, Alan Horton, the voice,
Yes.
the radio voice of the T-Wolves.
Yeah.
We're going to have lunch tomorrow, and he invited me to the game, so I'm gonna go check out the links.
Well, you
That's
can
awesome.
Tonight.
You can bet on Nafisha Collier, and you can sit courtside and cheer her on, Tony.
Yeah, give me Nafisha for
You
sure.
better go with
Give me
Nafisha there. Yeah. Minnesota's having quite the season in the WNBA.
Yeah.
They are, they don't get a lot of the attention because we've talked about this already. They don't get in fights and push and shove and do silly stuff. They just go win basketball games. They're in 30-7 overall and 18-1 at home. So they've been dominant. I'll take Nafisha Collier, but Brianna Stewart is a noble opponent for sure.
I'll take Stewart
for sure.
I'll take Brianna. All right, and Coco Gauff, 5.5 game favorite over Donna.
By the way, that was just random story. That was the one thing I did was cool about Syracuse. I did get a chance to meet Brianna Stewart, who's from that area, at the airport randomly. We were like traveling to play somebody.
Did she come up and go, "Hey, are you Tony Gwynn Jr.?"
No, absolutely not.
She did.
We all went up to her like we were like little kids, like, "Oh, very nice to meet you, Miss Stewart."
All right.
Yeah, it was cool.
I like it.
Sorry, I
Right,
digress.
no, we're good. We'll take the break. Those are our picks for tonight. We have a Rise talk coming up.
3:40.
Okay, 3:40. You say for Luisa Rise talk?
Yes, because we have our guest up next.
Soccer, first place, playoff confirmed.
Confirmed.
SDFC. Yes, we do our soccer thing on Thursday, so stick around for that after traffic.
Traffic will be later.
Collectors, Front Row Card Show is back in San Diego. Join us at the Town and Country Resort.
Gavin Sheets is with us, and Manny's a big reason why the Padres have had the kind of season they've had so far. And I've said it many times. Where would we be without you, Gavin? I want to ask a little bit about left field. You have really impressed, a lot of people. I think from how far you've come in left field, and maybe. The early games, there was just a matter of kind of getting reacquainted with it out there. It's not easy. Balls are slicing. Balls are hit hard over your head.
Yeah.
I hope we can start laughing now. Is it long enough since the collision with the fence? But look, man.
Trust me, we're well past that. I think I'm in a couple different group chats, and I think that's the picture of me against the wall. So trust me, these guys did a lot. they didn't wait very long. I can promise you that.
I bet. Well, you're lucky. You're lucky that because I've seen a lot of teams will go out there the next day and somebody will tape an outline of the player up against the fence where they ran it. I didn't see the Padres do that, but what I'm saying is. Go ahead.
I'm very happy we got to San Fran quickly.
Yeah, right. You got out of town.
That's right. We left right after.
That's what happened. But no, let's be serious because left field, I think you've been great, and really done a nice job, made some really good catches out there. I think it seems to me that Schilt and the staff, are pretty comfortable with you out there. Where are you at in left field?
Yeah, I think that, no, you said it right. I think, in the beginning, getting out there just, because I had never really played left, and getting out there, one day a week, once every 2 weeks, that was tough. And, I knew that once they kind of gave me the keys to left field, I bought in and enjoyed it, took it as obviously a huge compliment to be thrown out there. And, and just put a lot of work out there. Macias and I, the outfield coach, we busted our butt out there and kind of enjoyed the process of it, and enjoyed growing as an outfielder, enjoyed the, just being able to help the team in many different ways. And, I think just buying in and putting in work out there. But you're right. I think I grew a lot out there from April and May to where we are now.
Gavin, I want to highlight something you kind of alluded to in one of your earlier answers. You said that your role might change. Talk a little bit about watching as everybody else was last night, as all these deals are flurrying through. Talk about kind of recognizing that maybe your role changes a little bit, but also the excitement of acquiring all of this talent as you guys, focus on perhaps winning a World Series.
Yeah. Man, it was, I felt like a fan like everybody else yesterday, just watching along and seeing all the moves that were being made across the league. And, yeah, I think what we did yesterday just solidifies that everybody in the clubhouse has the same goal. Front office all the way down, ownership all the way down, and obviously we bring in the players that we brought in. It makes this team extremely dangerous from top to bottom. And then you look at our pitching and our bullpen, and man, thank God I'm on this team, because coming to San Diego and getting potentially Mason Miller in the 5th inning, that's about as good as it gets. And obviously I don't know what the role is going to be going forward. I don't know how we're going to manage everything. Obviously that's way out of my control, but I do know that we all have the same goal in mind, and I think that it really showed yesterday that we're not messing around and we're going for it.
And you've kind of sent that message again, also, Gavin. I mean, the one thing I've been really impressed with, along with your growth in left field, is the hitting against left-handers. I don't know that they, you can look at numbers, etc. I think the team, the staff, they want to see you against some left-handed pitching, but I don't know that they expected a lot. And then you came in there and started tearing up left-handed pitching pretty good. So, I think you're going to get chances the next 2 months because of the way you performed. Just real quick for us, standing in the batter's box, what is your mindset, or is it any different against a lefty as opposed to a righty? Yes. Can the airwaves handle 3 Aztecs at once? Marcello was a good Aztec back in the day. Yeah, exactly. Marcello was he was in the Eric Winalda days of Aztec soccer. I'm bringing up things that Tony's he wasn't there for, but Marcello was a guy on the Aztecs back in the day.
Well, I knew he's an Aztec.
Yeah.
I didn't know the I
era.
wasn't familiar with the era. Yeah.
I wonder if I'd even have to. They made the national championship game one year in soccer, the Aztecs.
That's cool.
Got all the way to the final game. Yeah. And they lost. I think it was to Virginia. Could have been to Clemson. But I don't know if Marcello was on that team.
Well, I thought you were the trivia expert. So.
I'm pretty good. I'm not great on college soccer. It's not my top category.
Okay, good. I'm going to go to college soccer questions
yes.
and Chris versus the fans.
Go right ahead. Give that a shot. If you can find one, you can ask it.
We'll be talking some SDFC here with Marcello.
By the way, real quick, Tony, we should update everybody, remind everybody, if you're just tuned in, there was one big story today. Micah Parsons was traded from the Cowboys to the Packers. Cowboys get 2 first-round picks in return, plus a defensive tackle. But we were talking about SDFC last week, and we were talking on our interview about trying to find a nickname for this team, because SDFC doesn't really roll off the tongue. And apparently some of our listeners were telling us, and I looked up online, that people are starting to call the team the Chrome. And
Chrome, huh?
Yes, the Chrome.
Where does that come from?
Because the team colors are dark blue and chrome.
Yeah.
So they're calling the team the Chrome. And then we come to find out.
I got a text message.
You got a text message. According to this texter, the Chrome nickname was invented by our former colleague, Mr. Elston.
Yes.
So Craig Elston.
We had to give him his due.
We got to give him his due. We're using his nickname.
Shout out to Craig.
Yeah, we got to give Craig a little love on that.
Because Chris and I kept claiming it as our own, and then I was like,
claiming it as our own.
He said his podcast that he started way before we started saying the Chrome is called the Chromaniacs, and they talk about SDFC. Yeah. He calls them Los Cromados, which is the Chrome in Spanish.
Okay.
So
now you're getting a little too in depth for me.
Craig Elston invented the Chrome.
Very good. So good on you,
nice,
Mr. Elston. But the Chrome is in action again this week, and their season just continues to be fantastic, Tony.
Yeah,
we're pleased with those guys.
It's quite remarkable what they have been able to accomplish to this point.
They did have a rare 0-0 game last week. I've only had a couple of those because they've been fun offensively. putting a lot of goals up there and stuff.
Yeah, let's get to our guest. Marcelo Balboa joins us, analyst for MLS Season Pass on Apple Plus. Marcelo, how are you? Thank you for joining us today.
I'm good, my friend. How are you?
We are well. 3 Aztecs on the line together. It's always a good day when you're able to pull that off. Talk to us a little bit about SDFC. I mean, they have already clinched their postseason spot. How does a team kind of navigate with the rest of the season from here? I mean, there's so much buildup to get to that point. You've already accomplished it before the season end. How does the team continue to kind of press forward from here?
Listen, they have to keep basically what they've been doing, because a lot of teams, and we'll give you, for a few years ago, St. Louis had a goal of making the playoffs. And as soon as they made the playoffs, they were in first place in the West. They won the West. But as soon as they hit that first place, it's like they reached their goal. And as soon as they reached their goal, all of a sudden they dropped their intensity because they knew they were in the playoffs. Next thing you know, at the end of the year, they lost 5 out of 6 and went into the playoffs as the number 1 seed and lost in the first round. So it's important to, and I think completely different. Mikey's got these guys flying right now. They're playing good football. So the mentality's got to be right every day now. Now it's about mentality, and it's about grinding it out, because there's 2 seasons. Regular season is almost done, and now the most important part of our important part of our season comes, those playoff games. And those playoff games are dangerous, very dangerous when you play 2 out of 3.
Marcelo Balboa is our guest, and I was talking, Marcelo, about the glory days of Aztec soccer. And 1988 was when you arrived. You were an All-American.
Yeah,
You're twice an All-American, but you missed the national championship game by 1 season. It was 1987.
Yeah.
When, they were there. Glory days, though. I remember it. Was Chuck Clegg wasn't the coach of that? Was he the coach of that? He was.
Yes, he was.
A neighbor of mine, believe it or not. And you had Winalda. I mean, those are some good old days, and now we finally have some good old days in soccer again in America's finest city, right?
You know what? Those were great days. I mean, I missed that year because I was supposed to play that year, but I sat out because I ended up playing in the Youth World Cup in 87. So I decided to not play, and I came after that. So I played 88, 89, but God, the glory days of the San Diego Sockers with Kevin Crowe, Fernando Cornejo, Jungle. I mean, it was just wonderful in San Diego. Brian Quinn on the national team with us. I mean, let's be honest, it's always been a soccer town. It's just nice that it finally was able to hit MLS, and people realize, oh crap, look at all these players we've had for so many years here, men and women. And it's just blossoming there, and it's so cool to be able to go back in a few weeks to do one of the games in San Diego. So I'm excited about that again. But yeah, the good old days of soccer. I could tell you hundreds of stories because Ronaldo was my roommate. It would scare you. So yeah,
that would scare us. Yeah, Ronaldo was a free spirit for sure.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. We had a few of those. Jeff Betts. We had a few of those.
Marcelo Balboa joins us here, analyst for MLS Season Pass. And Marcelo, you mentioned Mikey Varas here earlier.
Yeah.
There's something about him and how he seems to have this team really playing some of its best soccer. And it struck me the very first time we got a chance to speak on him. Speak to him. He just seemed like a very charismatic gentleman that seems like he finds a way to get the best out of his players. He's doing a terrific job this year, I'd say.
He's done a great job. He'll be up for Coach of the Year, and if they can stay in, if I can tell you this, if they can stay in first place and win the West, I don't see how you don't give him Coach of the Year. You know what I mean? But with that comes a lot of pressure. Let's be honest, because 1 year doesn't make you a great coach. Consistency, over years. So this is a great start for Mikey and for San Diego, and now we're going to expect more next year. And we're going to expect more the year after that, because once you build a winner and once you have a winning team, your fans want to win, your franchise wants to win, your players want to win. And with that comes pressure. And that's what we love about our sport finally. The pressure you have to win, the pressure to have to buy the right players, to put the right product on the field, to get the fans to come to support. So he's had a fantastic year. The franchise, everybody's doing a wonderful job there. Now, you know what it comes down to? Now it's come to crunch time. Now can you get the best? You play your best soccer in MLS at the end of the year, not at the beginning of the year. If you play your best soccer at the end of the year, you have a chance to win an MLS Cup. Now we got to see this team. The last 8 games will tell us how and where they're at.
For sure. Yeah. I mean, you're coming right down to it. They got LAFC on the road this Sunday and then back home on the 13th for Minnesota United, which I know is right behind them in the league standings. So some good games still to come. Marcelo, we've, the SDFC thing, we've loved it. We've been talking about it. I want to just ask you while I have you, you're a guy who's a star on the U.S. national team. And this is going back now 30 years or so. I hate to age all of us, but
it's all good. It's all good.
Hey, look, I remember you playing, so I'm in the same thing. But would you have kind of thought, looking back, that maybe 30 years now later, that the U.S., men's soccer overall on a world level might be ahead of where it actually is? Or is it about where it kind of still should be?
I think we're at where we should be. And only because, listen, no one had expectations of us in 90, 94. Little by little after 94, people started having more expectation of us, of this group. And we've been growing at a steady pace. We went from a league that, let's be honest, an MLS, which was built for American players, to now you got teams all over the world coming to get our players. So national teams, the academies have done a great job of developing these kids. Because look at all the kids from Tyler Adams, Weston McKennie, Pulisic. They all played somewhere in some sort of academy in the United States. So yeah, I think where we should be. I think that this team right now, we labeled them the golden generation because of all of the players that have left this country to go play for big time teams all over the world, which is great. That's what we wanted. That's the pressure they need to have. So now, the bottom line is they got to perform, man. That's what it comes down to. When you put on that national team shirt, you got to get it done. And this past year, they have not gotten it done. So yeah, there's been a lot of bickering between players and Landon Donovan and Pulisic, which I think is absolutely ridiculous. If the guy needs a break, who are we to tell Pulisic that he needs a break? Landon took over 100 days off and did the same thing, and nobody busted his shop. So you know what? At the end of the day, when they come back from this vacation and they come back from this rest, when they put on that damn shirt, now they got to step it up because there's only 11 months left. And now it's time to put the game face on. Now it's time, because you're going to make or break this sport in the next World Cup, because all eyes all over the world, every country is going to be watching what the U.S. is doing with the players they have. Because we've been hyped up. We've been talking about these players. People know our players.
Right.
So this is going to be huge. They could take this game in the United States to the next level. Getting into a quarterfinal could take this game over the top of what we want in this country, to open people's eyes. If they don't get out of the group, it could take we may take a step backwards because of the failure. So this team has a lot of pressure to get into a quarterfinal. Anything less than a quarterfinal for me is not acceptable.
Love it, Marcelo. Thank you for your time today, man. We enjoyed this conversation big time. So let's do it again.
Anytime. You have my number. Anytime.
Very good. Thanks, Marcelo. Nice talking to
you.
All
right, guys.
Enjoyed that.
Care, guys.
Marcelo Balboa, as I said, analyst for the MLS Season Pass on Apple Plus. Man, I think he hit the nail on the head there at the end.
Interesting, yeah, right. A lot's going to be on the line with the World Cup. And as this guy played, right? He was on the U.S. national team for many years back in the 80s, 90s. So he knows of what he speaks. And guys in the National Soccer Hall of Fame. That's a big time soccer athlete right there, for us. And I hope they listen up to Marcelo.
Skraby, where are we navigating to from here?
Well, I think it's time for us to talk about Luis Arise because Chris.
That's right.
Chris.
I've been chomping at the bit, right?
No, I don't know. Chris.
No, I don't know.
Chris is. I don't know even what to say. Just keep saying Chris is about Luis Arise.
Okay, let's get to break since you don't know what to say. I'll take over. We'll get to break. Luis Arise on the other side. At least the conversation.
Ben and Woods on the Fan.
Coming up on a Friar Friday, Padres assistant GM.
Stay low. Hands on the heart. Stay low. tandem student right there.
I tried. I wrecked your good job, buddy.
Fun, huh?
You need help with anything?
Okay, I'm nervous. Stand up, stay low. Hands on the heart. Stay low.
For this next segment, all day, all night, all week.
I've been dreading this next segment.
You know, I pick up the paper today. It's everywhere you go right now surrounding the Padres. And that is, should Luis Ariz be batting second? And that is the big one. Kevin Acee, I think, explained it perfectly in a story today. Said there actually has been some talk internally about, what to do here. But he added that the talk outside the organization has been much more vehement about it. And that's just accurate. I mean, if you go on any social media, all you're going to see is everybody complaining about this. Now, you can downplay it some and say that it's just some loud voices, but there does seem to be a groundswell of support for taking Ariz out of the two-hole. Maybe it is born in the fact that he's hitting something like, 224 over the last 21 games, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I think some people might have been excited yesterday because he wasn't in the two-hole. Ramon Laureano, who a lot of people would like to see there, was batting second. And, of course, ironically, Tony, the game comes down to Ramon Laureano coming to the plate, which I thought was kind of interesting after all of this talk. Although Mike Shildt said after the game, it was just a day off for Luis Ariz. Certainly expects him back in there this weekend. It's Mike Shildt's lineup to make, and I keep pointing that out to our fans as well, Tony. Stop shooting the messenger over here. I don't know what it is. People seem to think I am the Luis Ariz apologist. I don't mean to be. I just want to keep pointing out that I believe there's some value in Luis Ariz, and if the Padres felt he should move down, they would move him down already, but they haven't.
Yeah, and that's why it doesn't matter if it's 1,000 people. It doesn't matter until Mike Shildt decides to change the lineup on his own.
Yeah.
So, it is what it is. Luis has had a bad month. He's hit like 213th in the month of August, which is why this conversation is happening. It wasn't happening in July when he was swinging the bat good. It's happening now because, people start to panic. That's just what it is. People, they start to panic and, how can we move it? We need to move. When Mike Shildt is ready to change it, and when, if the powers that be are ready to change it or think it should be changed, it'll be changed. The conversation is we've had it a number of times at this point, and everybody is entitled to how they feel about it. But it don't really matter how everybody feels about it. It only matters how Mike Shildt and the Padres feel about it. And at this point, according to what Kevin wrote, there's no plans to move him out of the 2 spot. So y'all just gonna have to keep whining about it until it happens.
Oh, they don't need your go-ahead, Tony. They'll whine. They'll whine anyway. Here comes one of the main whiners, by the way.
No, real quick, when it happens, then we'll get a chance to see what it is. It ain't happened yet.
I think I'm not a whiner, Chris. By the way,
A little bit.
Take offense
on
to
this
that.
on this category.
But is there? Do you
the constant is? But I don't know.
Do you guys? I mean, can you guys acknowledge that there is a not a hole in the lineup, but there's a dip at the 2 spot right now, and you can't go into the playoffs without a 2 spot hitting.
I'm not acknowledging that because the playoffs ain't started yet. The playoffs is a full month away. Now, if we get to that point at that particular time, and he's or whoever, if it ain't him, whoever it is, right? We'll be saying the same thing about that person. It is August, whatever. You can't August 28th, right? Did I get that right?
Yes.
You can't predict, just as you couldn't predict the Padres when they were 9 games out of second place, that they would end up in first place at some point. You don't know how it's going to turn. And you know, for that matter, the idea is that you drop him down, right? And that you move everybody else up, whoever everybody is, right? If he continues to be in a slump, right, and you're moving him down, guess what? Now you have that same problem you had a little bit earlier in the season, which is that bottom portion of the lineup ain't really producing. And so, you know, again, when Mike and AJ and whoever else is making that decision, when they get ready to move Luis Ariz down, take him out, whatever it is they decide, they'll do it. The continued conversation about it is just that until something else changes.
Tony is you're speaking my language on this one, Tony. Skraby and I were, kind of at each other's throats about it yesterday. And I think Skraby's representing the small, percentage of the populace that wants to see this all happen.
You just put me in a bracket that the small percentage, if Kevin Acey's writing news articles about it, then there's more than just me thinking about it.
I said the small percentage. I said you're representing a group of people that think he needs to move.
I'm not even saying that he needs to move. I'm just asking for you guys to admit that he's not the same hitter that he has been in his career.
I will admit that he's not the same hitter right now that he has been in his career. But as I said yesterday,
that's obvious. Why are we having to admit that?
It's not even.
He's hitting .213 in the month of August.
We know he's struggling, but here was my point on that. Skraby didn't like this point, but I'll make it again. When Manny went 14 games without driving in a run, I didn't hear anybody saying he should be moved out of the spot. Why? Because Manny has done it in the past. Well, frankly, Luis Ariz has done it in the past. He's won 3 straight batting titles. If he hits 330 or 400 in the month of September, which he's certainly capable of doing, if he gets hot, then they'd be happy to ride that into the playoffs with him swinging the bat like that.
I'm with you.
So why do we have to move him when he's in a slump? If we have to move him when he's in a slump, then we should move everybody when they're in a slump. That was the point I was trying to make.
I mean, there's some consistency. They wanted to move Toddy. People wanted to move Toddy when he was struggling in that leadoff spot, but they didn't move him either. They stuck with it. I'm not sitting here saying that they don't need to move him. I'm just saying he hasn't moved him yet. So we can keep going around this merry-go-round and having this conversation, but until it actually happens, we just are going to just keep having this conversation.
No, we're not. And there's always going to be. I found this over the years. There's always going to be one player that people are upset with because they're not producing at the moment, which is part of being a baseball player.
But that can literally change, and we see it literally all the time. That changes from week to week. The month of the calendar turns September, right? All of a sudden the calendar changes and such has gotten hot. Like that happens all the time. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but until Mike or AJ or whoever's making that decision, I'm assuming it's Mike. When Mike makes that decision, then we'll be able to be like, all right, let's see what it looks like now with whoever in the 2 spot. But we've exhausted this Luis Ariz moving down thing. Until it happens, it's just talk.
Yeah, but you got to do it, Tony. You have to do it. Number one, because Luis Ariz is useless.
This is where you go wrong, is you put words in people's mouth.
Number 2, I'm even hearing people say this, that Fernando not hitting home runs is a result of people pitching around him because they are not concerned at all with Ariz.
I mean, they do intentionally walk Fernando to get to Ariz.
So Ariz is now taking the blame for Fernando's struggles as well. So everything is on a rise in the minds of some people. That just seems silly to me, but
all right, let me okay. I don't even know if I want to ask this because I already know the answer.
Just ask.
You guys are the manager of the Padres.
What would I do?
What would you do? When would you move him down? Are you just going to keep him there for the rest of the season? What are you going to do, Crisello? Manager Crisello.
I'm cutting him loose, but
you're cutting him loose.
Yeah,
That's not what I'm saying either.
The good news is he can join Xander Bogaerts out in the free agent scrap heap because we cut him 2 months ago as well. I mean, all of the anguish, all of the I mean, the guy that they piled on endlessly was Xander the first 3 months of the season.
And we stood by him. We did.
Okay. So, and you know what? We kind of reaped the rewards of that. He's had an incredibly good last 2 months. Some of the best in all of baseball. I don't know. I just think if Arise hadn't won 3 batting titles and shown what I think he can do, then I'd be very quickly moving him around. But
we're making progress in this conversation.
I think he could hit 415 in the month of September just as easily as he can hit 215.
Let me go through his months for you guys because I have that right in front of me. In the first part of the year, March, it was like five games. He had 1 hit. That's fine. April, he hit 355. May, he hit 274. June, he hit 288. July, he hit 323, and then August, he's hitting 233. So it's been a bit of a roller coaster.
That's what I no. For real is that we saying 335, 275, 285, and 315 is a roller coaster. I mean,
take it back. I do.
What my point is he had a what's he hitting this month? 213?
233.
Right? Oh, 233. So he's had a atrocious month of August, and that's what's leading to this conversation. I don't recall this happening at the beginning of August or July when he just finished hitting 335. It happened that he had a bad month, and rightfully so, right? I mean, people are, as I said, panicked about the Pods and what they're going to look like come September. I think it would be crazy to. And listen, maybe you move him down to get him going again. I'm with that. But I think he's best suited in that 2 spot when he's swinging the bat the way that we've seen him swing the bat. And
but he's also taken away stolen bases for Fernando. Here's another argument that I keep hearing is that when Fernando runs, Arise fouls the pitch off.
Has it ever, can I ask you a question?
Go ahead, because you're going to say, I think, what I want to say. Go ahead, yeah.
Has it ever dawned on anybody in their mind at all that, I don't know, maybe there's a hit and run?
Yeah, I did want to ask that because that is a possibility.
Has it ever dawned in anybody's mind that maybe he's the one that's initiating the hit and run? Has it just ever crossed anybody's mind that might be?
I definitely wanted to ask that because we don't know, and so that is a fair point to make that there could be a play on.
But the other thing is,
I think it's fair to bang on Luis because he hasn't swung the bat well. But the idea that he's just taking stolen bases away, like he doesn't want to hit with a runner in scoring position, and perhaps
that's more of the fantasy baseball crowd. That's more of the fantasy baseball crowd.
I mean, that is so crazy because the other thing is that everybody just assumes if Arise let the pitch go that Fernando would automatically be safe, and that is not the case either. So it's you're right, Tony. I'm exhausted. But
you've had an exhausting 2 weeks.
I've been hearing about it ever since. Look, ever since Ryan O'Hearn hit a home run against Robbie Ray, I feel like I've been public enemy number 1, and that's fine. But to bring this thing full circle, as I said yesterday, tomorrow Ryan O'Hearn is going to be our guest on the show, so we will get to go face to face with him. But please, I wish everybody would understand that I want every guy to get a hit every single time up. I root for all these guys. I think this team has a chance, real chance to win the thing this year, and I want to see it happen. But I'm just a little surprised at all of the anguish out there, and I think too much of it is being directed at Luis Arise right now. I just do.
Yeah, no. Well, like I said,
I think there's also
doesn't matter until there's a change.
I think there's also a misinformation campaign on some certain things. Sorry, I'm not going to say your name on the chat, but Crony, despite his couple hits this series against Seattle, has not been productive offensively. I would
Not
disagree
true.
with that.
Not
I would disagree
true
with that.
at
The
all.
last 7 games, he's hitting 368, a home run, 4 RBIs.
Right,
He has
that's
7
what I'm
hits.
saying. Does some of y'all even watch the game? Like, what? That dude has been. He had a great series against the Mariners. He's been killing.
He's had a 279 batting average in August.
He also had an 18-game streak where he was on base, which was led baseball there for 3 weeks. But again, Tony, the Cronenworth thing's another one for me. If you look at the analytics, which is what a lot of, I think, the complainers do, they look at analytics.
That's where people hate you. Is you call everybody complainers. you could say detractors, and it's a little bit better.
All right, for all the complainers out there, for all the ones that look at analytics and immediately just pick on something because they see something analytically, I point out the fact that the analytics say that Jake Cronenworth is simply the worst defensive second baseman in baseball. But my eyes do not tell me that. I don't believe anybody's eyes can tell them that if they watch all the Padre games like we all do. So I think you have to take a lot of it with a grain of salt. You really do.
I feel like this is a strictly an us thing. Just to give you an example, Mookie Betts is hitting second for the Dodgers. Has been hitting second all year. His WRC is actually worse than Luis's. At least it was when I last looked. No one is asking him to be moved out of this 2-hole, right? Like he's had a bad year all year. It hasn't just been a month. And so, I just think ultimately, whether it's to get him going again, you're going to need that dude in your lineup at some point when it matters most. That's just my opinion.
Mookie's OPS this year is almost astoundingly low, 695, which is not a Mookie Betts OPS.
But Tony might be right, though. Nobody's calling for him to be removed. Why? Because he has a track record of being great.
Tony, don't make good points and then
it goes back to what you were saying a little bit earlier. It's selective on what histories we're going to lean on and say, no, he's got his track record though says we can keep doing it, but his track record ain't good enough for us to keep moving forward. So. I don't know.
Yeah, I know.
Do you know what they're calling?
I just want the team to win, Chris.
But you know what all this is just an exercise, because until Mike Shield actually pins the change, it's just what it is. Like,
I want to finish with one more really mean thing that I saw about Luis Arraez. Do you know what they're calling him now online?
I don't even want to know because it's not fair to him.
They're calling him Phony Gwynn.
Wow. I mean, that's kind of
a harsh comment.
Of clever, but it's not true.
Cornball USA is what that is. Get out of here.
I'm telling you.
I
read it.
Phony. Number one, those are probably all the Dodgers fans in the mentions, because I don't think Padres fans are calling him Phony Gwynn.
Well, I think is the reference apparently to the fact that Tony won a lot of batting titles, but he was great. Arraez has won a lot of batting titles, but he's not.
But that's a false statement from those people.
I'm so glad my dad played in the 90s.
Yeah, no kidding.
Y'all would hate him too. He'd be like, oh, punching Judy. Y'all doing him crazy.
I do think it's got a little too far with the Phony Gwynn. Come on, people. That's not cool.
You said it was the Dodger people. Leave it alone.
Yeah, they're listening right now. They're always listening. And then they jump on the chat. Dodgers, Padres. And then they go back to their bridges. All right, Christmas.
I loved all of that. Let's do it again next hour.
More good at Chris on the other side.
The gondola pulls in.
Yeah.
It goes very slow.
Yeah, it slows down for everybody.
Really slow. As we're getting off, over to my left, there's a couple getting in the gondola, going up the mountain. So it's the opposite for them. They're standing there. The gondola comes up. The door opens. You step on. Well, there was a commotion.
Uh-oh.
There was a commotion.
Someone fell.
There was a commotion, and Lori goes, "Hey, there's a commotion."
She said commotion?
I don't think she said that. But we go kind of not hustling, but walking over there quickly. There's a lady who has fallen as she's trying to get into the gondola. She's now got one leg in the gondola.
Oh, no!
The other leg and body trapped underneath the gondola.
90.
No, she's probably in her late 50s. How do I say this best?
Oh, she's heavy set?
She's in the shape of somebody who's in their 70s. You've got to rescue the poor lady. She's trapped under the gondola. Of course, as soon as she falls and there's the commotion, the guy running the station stops the gondola.
Okay, I was going to
Which means everybody on the mountain and 4 miles away has to stop. Everybody has to stop while we try to extricate the lady from the gondola.
Okay, let me ask you a question.
Underneath the gondola. She's got one leg on the gondola. The rest of her body is underneath the gondola. And when I arrive to see what's going on, I'm kind of the first or second person there.
You're a first responder?
Pretty much. The guy running the gondola place is busy stopping
traffic.
The ride.
Yeah.
No, he's stopping the ride.
Oh, okay. All right.
So we're kind of first there. Lori's behind me. The lady's on her back. She's looking straight up in the air. And the only description I have is one of utter panic and utter terror combined with total helplessness.
Oh, I thought you were going to say embarrassment.
No, total helplessness. She's not only trapped, but she's not even remotely doing anything to help herself. She's kind of in a panic, and you think something terrible is going to happen, or she does.
Okay.
I go over there. First thing, breathe.
That's what you said?
I told the lady to breathe.
That's good.
I said, you're going to be okay.
That's good.
Just breathe.
That's good.
Try to relax.
No, that was the perfect thing you could have said.
As I'm stupidly pulling this 250-pound gondola, trying to pull it off of her. Yeah. Okay. Well, you're getting
the gondola is way heavier than 250 pounds.
Yeah, right. 1,000-pound gondola.
So you're trying to move the gondola.
Just move it a little.
Is her leg how is she attached to this gondola?
Well, I told you her one leg's actually on the gondola in the doorway.
Okay.
Then the rest of her body's underneath. What is stuck with her in the gondola is her belly, not her leg.
Oh no.
That's right. Okay. No. So I'm pulling. By the time finally a couple more people pull and we are able to get enough airway to get her to scramble out of there. And then she immediately stepped on the gondola to go take her ride up the mountain. And off she went.
This is
I felt like I saved her life. I really do. I honestly feel like I almost saved her life.
I kind of will credit you with this.
You know, she was. I think if I didn't tell her to breathe, I think she would have gone into some sort of shock or whatever you do.
No,
she was
you're
going
right.
into
You're
a
right.
panic, Skraby.
You're
She was going into
right.
an absolute panic, and. You know, I had to calming her down. I think was the number one thing. She wasn't in any real danger, but she wasn't feeling great because she was trapped under the gondola.
But the fact
look
that you said her belly was
her belly. Yeah, I'm telling you, Skrabe, it was a factor. And there was, there's a couple of people pulling on an arm trying to drag her out.
I'm crying.
I know. There's people on the other side with her arm. They're trying to drag her. I'm lifting the gondola so she can get a little room to get out of there.
You're like, hey, I'm going to take the gondola. It's lighter.
All right. I didn't say that. You did. But it was quite the scene.
I am happy that she's okay, obviously.
She's fine. If she got right on the gondola.
If this was a worse story, I would not be laughing. But she's fine. You did probably help her a lot more than you think you did.
I think so. Because she was able to calm down just a tad. The gondola pulls in.
Yeah.
It goes very slow.
Yeah, it slows down for everybody.
Really slow. As we're getting off, over to my left, there's a couple getting in the gondola.
Okay.
Going up the mountain. So it's the opposite for them. They're standing there. The gondola comes up. The door opens. You step on. Well, there was a commotion.
Uh-oh.
There was a commotion.
Someone fell?
There was a commotion, and Lori goes, hey, there's a commotion.
She said commotion?
I don't think she said that, but we go kind of not hustling, but walking over there quickly. There's a lady who has fallen as she's trying to get into the gondola. She's now got one leg in the gondola.
Oh, no!
The other leg and body trapped underneath the gondola.
90.
No, she's probably in her late 50s. How do I say this best?
Oh, she's heavy set?
She's in the shape of somebody who's in their 70s. You've got to rescue the poor lady. She's trapped under the gondola. And of course, as soon as she falls and there's the commotion, the guy running the station stops the gondola.
Okay, I was going to
Which means everybody on the mountain and 4 miles away has to stop. Everybody has to stop while we try to extricate the lady from the gondola.
Okay, let me ask you a question.
Underneath the gondola. She's got one leg on the gondola. The rest of her body is underneath the gondola. And when I arrive to see what's going on, I'm kind of the first or second person there.
You're a first responder?
Pretty much. The guy running the gondola place is busy stopping
traffic.
The ride.
Yeah.
No, he's stopping the ride.
Oh, okay. All right.
So we're kind of first there. Lori's behind me. The lady's on her back. She's looking straight up in the air. And the
02 out in rainy San Diego. Still raining, gentlemen?
No,
it
not
really
not
hasn't
anymore.
been raining bad all day. Just a drizzle throughout the day, and so kind of cooling things off. The humidity is actually quite high for our part of the world.
Now my hair has been a mess today.
Yes. Please get it straightened away. We're coming into the game show portion of the program, and I want you to look your best.
A little Chris versus the fans headed your way. I will get back to my duties of reading the question here. Skraby, you said there's a couple people in their feels about our last conversation a little bit.
A little bit. It's calmed down a lot from last week, but I will never. And I'm giving people a way to get me angry, which is my problem to say this, but I will never get over when people say, "Oh, the media is just too soft here in San Diego." It makes my mind explode. Like, why are we to blame for this? We have nothing to do with the team.
Because if Tony and I were out on the radio, since we have a talk show that's kind of out there in the public eye, if Tony and I would come on and just say, "Hey, Luis, you're terrible, and it's time for you to be, ninth in the order or out of the lineup altogether and be tremendously critical," that would change everything. And it just wouldn't. You're right, Skraby, it wouldn't. The fact of the matter is, neither of us believe that. Okay, maybe in Philadelphia, some guy would come on and go, "It's time we take Trey Turner and get rid of this guy." Because it's happened before in places like that. But almost every time that kind of thing happens, it gets some attention. And then what happens? Trey Turner starts playing like Trey Turner again, and then it goes away.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the comment was that we now you guys are allowed, people aren't allowed to voice their opinion. I think clearly everybody's been voicing their opinion. No one has been stopped from voicing their opinion. I mean, we've had this conversation now for like 3 days. At least we've talked about it.
More, way more, Tony. Way more.
Oh man!
Not only am I soft on Luis Arise, I am also on Mike Schilt's personal payroll.
That's right.
Every time I say something to defend him, the money flows in.
I want to bring this up. AJ Cassavell, Mike Schilt was it last week? I think it was last week. AJ was asking about Ryan O'Hearn, and Mike Schilt asked him a question, and AJ kind of went back and forth with him a little bit. And the people online were like crushing AJ Cassavell, like, "Oh, that was your chance to really tell him." And AJ said, "My job is not to debate the manager. My job is to report on what the manager is saying." And these people were like, "No, you have to debate. You have to debate." Like, what kind of world do these people live in? Honestly, they live in a fake world. They do. I mean, it's not real to expect AJ Cassavell to get in some major debate with Mike Schilt during his media scrum about Ryan O'Hearn.
I think it's kind of funny that Skraby's been on my case for treating the listeners poorly lately. and then he says that they live in a fake world.
Well, those people do. Yes.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah, the ones that are like the media's soft.
Okay.
You guys are lying to us. Those are the people I'm talking to.
I got you. Okay.
I mean, the media, the media always has the same tone of the people that live in the city, right? I mean, New Yorkers match up with New York media. Philadelphia matches up with Philadelphia media. So I mean, the media is only a mirror image in some ways of the people that live in the city, right? That's kind of how, if you look at the how it rolls in the other cities that we're talking about, that's certainly a match. So I don't know. Well, media is what it is.
I think AJ Castell needs to.
I don't think AJ. Yeah, no, AJ's job is not to sit there and go back and forth or give his opinion. He's actually a journalist, so he actually is there to, as he said, report what is being said.
I thought when the Padres lose 2 or 3 games in a row, it is AJ Castell's job to actually physically put his hands around the neck of Mike Schilt.
I have it. AJ Castell, Mike Schilt, main event at the WWE Royal Rumble down there.
Speaking of AJ, he Skraby, you were behind the scenes saying that he wouldn't want to come on the show. He is adamant that he hasn't received a phone call from you.
Not yet.
Long time.
Okay, now this whole story has become a whole thing too. AJ Castell comes up to me in the press box one day. It was like, Tony said that you think I hate you, and I'm like, what? Like, Tony said that?
Yeah.
And then it went from there.
Said that you wasn't answering the phone calls anymore from Skraby, and he was like, what? I haven't received any phone calls from Skraby, so I don't know. Somebody's not telling the truth. We got a game to get to, so let's play some Chris versus the Fan.
If you had one shot, one opportunity to take down the human almanac himself,
howdy do.
Now is your time.
Listen to me, this guy is dangerous.
Now is your opportunity to win a prize.
Well, I hope you know what you're in for.
Chris versus the Fans starts now on 97.3 The Fan.
All right. The prize, you'll be qualified for our grand prize, a 2-night stay at Resorts World Las Vegas plus VIP admission to IU Day Club and $175 food and beverage credit. Celebrate summer with a 2-night stay at Resorts World Las Vegas. Dine poolside at one of the 5 unique pool experiences in the 5.5 acres pool complex, the largest elevated pool deck on the Las Vegas Strip, and experience IU Day Club, a stunning oasis inspired by the idyllic islands of Southeast Asia, where the ultimate party concepts transform the weekend into a never-ending summer. Special summer rates available now at rwlasvegas.com. Now offering no resorts fees and complimentary parking. Gotta say, if I never say the word idyllic again in my life, I'll be fine. It's been a month with this one, but the rules: you have to make it through 3 questions. Each question will get more difficult. If you get the question right, you move on. If you get the question wrong and Chris gets it right, you are eliminated. But if Chris gets it wrong, then you move on to the next question or you win. If you're a first-time player, let us know before you get into it, and you'll get that question for free today.
All right.
Oh, I need to give you a contestant.
Who's our first contestant there, buddy?
Let's go to Matthew.
Matthew, come on down. How are you, my friend? Happy Thursday.
I'm doing well. How are you guys?
Good.
Pretty good.
We're doing
Thanks
well.
for playing.
All right.
All right.
Here we go. First question.
All right.
Paula Abdul was a cheerleader for what sports team?
The Los Angeles Lakers.
Lake Show is correct.
She was indeed.
Honestly, I'm asking you honestly, Chris. Were you there when she was a cheerleader?
No. I think she was a little before I covered the team.
All right.
Question number 2. Who was the first player inducted into the Baseball Hall of Fame?
First person.
Cy Young.
Cy Young?
Stay there.
That is incorrect.
Is this a 1 or a 2?
This is a 2.
I mean, a 2 or a 3. Here's the problem I have.
Uh-oh.
Mm-mm.
I don't like it when he starts this.
Well, look,
I got this off of a website, by the way.
Yeah, Babe Ruth, Ty Cobb, maybe Cy Young, Honus Wagner, Christy Matt, they all went in the same time. There was one first class inducted in like the mid-30s. So I don't know what this website is after, other than to say whose name was actually called first. But, they all went in at the same time. I'll say Babe Ruth, but I don't know what you're looking for.
Sorry.
All right.
Well,
who are you going with?
I mean, if they all kind of, because we just had 4 people go, 5 people go in on this one.
Yeah.
They never really induct one person at a time, do they? You know what I mean?
That's all I'm saying. I'm sure
not trying to be. You saw it in a book, so it's.
I guess they're saying that Ty Cobb, because he had 98% of the vote, he was. But that's not the question.
The highest? So. That's not the question. I think we should let Matthew get to the next round there.
Yeah, let him go to the next round. He's good.
Because he named one of the guys that went in the first class.
I don't even remember what he said.
He said Cy Young.
Oh, yeah.
He said Cy Young.
Well, let's ask. Let's make sure. Can we? I don't know.
Oh, yeah. He's right there.
He definitely said
no, but did Cy Young go in the first class? That's what we should ask here.
Oh, I have it right here.
Okay. Who were the players? There was 4 or 5.
He did not.
Oh.
1937. Anyway, we've already.
Cy Young went the second year.
No, we haven't made a decision yet. Come on, Skraby. We got to play the game right. Man.
Cy Young went in the second class, so that's not correct.
So he did. That's not correct.
Not correct. Sorry, Matthew. We've ruled against you.
I tried to get you through, Matthew.
We've ruled against you.
Let's go to the next. Let's go to the next contestant.
Let's go to Neil.
Neil, welcome to the show. Come on down.
Thank you.
Hi, Neil.
All right.
First question. Which MLB team has never appeared in a World Series?
Seattle Mariners.
Correct.
Nice job.
Question number 2.
They're the only ones, I think, aren't they?
Yep.
That have never, I think they are.
Who was the first major league player to reach 500 home runs?
500.
5.
Gotta be Babe Ruth.
Gotta be the Bambino.
The Babe.
Hey, very good.
I really want to create some time machine to bring the Babe to today. I really want to see him face off against like a Nick Pivetta or like even a Mason Miller. Just have him sitting 103 with his little twig at the plate. Come on.
I feel like the Babe would need a little time to adjust, but I bet you he could probably hit a few. Come on. Can't be
who do you think
totally
would,
overmatched.
Who do you think would get more hits out of 100? Me or the Babe? I think it's me.
Oh God. You just put yourself on par with the guy who's basically considered the greatest baseball player in the history of the sport.
I know.
That's hilarious.
That was a little much.
That's
that
a
was
lot.
a little much.
That's a lot.
Question number 3.
I take it back.
Okay.
The Padres have not lost to 2 teams this season.
Boy.
Name both of them.
2 teams they have not lost to.
No L's.
Oh boy.
Tough.
Up to I'll say the Braves.
Braves?
And the Mets.
Stay there though, Neil.
See, this is where Neil unfortunately erred, and he didn't do it intentionally. I had one of them. I didn't have the second one. But the Mets is correct because they've only played the one series and they swept them. The other team that they swept is Cleveland.
I just hit my microphone.
Sorry about that, Neil. I don't know that I would have come up with that.
Sorry,
though.
Neil.
He
See,
said
that's the problem with
that
that's
threw
the
it to me. Yep.
That's the problem when you genuinely guess and don't really know. He actually hit one of them in
He
the
did,
Mets,
and that threw it to me.
and that just opened the door to you.
Yeah.
Man. All right, I think we're in tiebreaker land. now.
Tiebreaker land.
4:15 on the clock.
Tiebreaker.
Yeah.
Should we go to the Babe for our guy?
Hey, the Bambino. Why not?
Why not?
I typed in Jeff Hamby and it didn't come up. So
Jeff Hambino.
the great Hambino. All right, I got it. Let's go to Raphael.
Hi,
Hey, how's it
Raphael.
going?
Hey,
Hello,
welcome
Raphael.
to the tiebreaker. Best of luck to you today. You gonna do a pitching category or a hitting category, Scrabe?
That's a
Remember
great question.
Bambino
I'm going to
also
do
pitched?
a hitting category.
All right.
All right. So here's how it works.
714.
Okay, no, it's not.
Everybody knows the home run.
It's not the
so don't
number of
give
home
that.
runs.
Don't give that.
So I'm going to ask Chris he's going to give me a number, and Raphael's going to answer whether the actual number is higher or lower than what Chris said.
Right.
I can't talk, which is a bad thing for me.
I mean, it's I want to say one thing before we get it. Bambino has the all-time career OPS is 1164.
Okay, well, maybe we should pick someone else because Chris is just like
Encyclopedia on the all I'm saying is that on this show we do tend to be, we try to be fair to the babe and say, but he didn't play in the league with everybody. But the people he did play with, he was pretty dominant.
He was the best of them.
He was really dominant. Yeah,
for
he
sure.
was really dominant.
For sure.
All right,
Okay.
maybe Chris won't know this one.
All right.
But what is his career OPS plus?
Oh, brother. I don't even know what that is.
He definitely doesn't know what that is.
What is
It's-
zero good or what are we
No,
looking at? I don't
uh,
even know what's good.
100 is average.
100 is.
Oh,
yeah.
okay. So was he an average player?
But it could go all the way up past 100. Like it doesn't stop at 100.
Well, he wasn't an average player. He's have to be plus 150 at least.
150, you say?
I guess. I'm not
Raphael
sure about
is
the
the
stat.
answer higher or lower than 150?
I'll go higher.
He
Higher.
says he's even better than that.
Nice.
Raphael.
Stay there, Raphael. He had
Very
a
good.
206 OPS plus, Chris.
Is that
He
good?
was
That's very good.
101%. He was 101% better.
Yeah,
than
that's
the
how they do it.
average Player.
Yeah.
So you were saying 150? 150 would mean that he's 50% better than the average player.
Ah, okay. Well, Babe Ruth was better than, I mean, look, when he hit 59 home runs
my
to
man
set
was-
the record,
my man
the previous was
He was
21.
good. He was smoking cigars every night, like big ones.
As he was
good.
running around, as he was waddling
he was
around the
swinging
bases.
literal, right. He was swinging a literal tree. So he was good.
I'm looking at stats. He didn't really play in 1914, but 15, 16, 17, he had 4 home runs, 3 home runs, 2 home runs.
Yeah, but nobody had any in those days. The
Yeah.
ball was like trying to hit a steel weight till they finally changed the makeup of the ball in 1921, and that's when he hit 59 or whatever it was.
I mean, he had a season where he had 168
Were they
RBIs.
making was the baseball a pillow?
well, they called it the dead ball era.
That is
There was
true.
a guy.
Jeez.
There was a guy back
my
in the day.
man went from 4 homers to
Yeah.
He went from 4, 3, 2, 11, 29, 54, 59, 35, 41, 46.
Yeah.
Just
See, if
ridiculous.
he did. See, I'm glad Babe played there because they would be accusative of juicing if he was
Oh, that's
playing in
true.
today's day and age.
What I recall back, and I was there the year that Babe hit 4 home runs in 1917. There was a guy.
Just got that.
Yeah, the guy who won the title that year, I believe, was a guy whose nickname was Home Run Baker.
Oh,
and he hit 9 to
wow.
win the league.
Man,
so
man was
it was a
killing
different time. It was a
Man, they should
different
just
time.
call me Touchdown
All right, we gotta
Skraby.
Let's get to break. More Gwynn and Chris on the other side. It's some traffic.
From the 855 Get Ross Traffic Center.
Ladies and gentlemen, Manny Machado has joined the show. Manny, welcome. How are you, my friend?
I'm good. I'm good.
I guess we got to start with the most important part. I mean, you reached a pretty big milestone. Hit 2,000. You had 2004 now. You hit 350 early in the year. I mean, at what point in the offseason, at what point at all does this start to become something that you're actually thinking about? Because, I mean, that's a lot of hits, man. You ain't thinking about that from the beginning.
I knew the 3,000 was coming. I mean, I knew both of them going into the season where I was at, how many I was missing to get to those milestones. But thinking about it, I mean, right to like when you got 2 hits left, I'm not gonna lie, I've been searching for those 2 hits for a while, and man, I said it earlier this week. I mean, it's really hard to get a hit in the big leagues.
Yeah,
and it made me realize that just looking for those 2 hits, you're you know, I mean, the ones before have come. I mean, I hit 3 yesterday. That was, you know, it kind of just came. But when you're searching for it, when you want to hit those 2 hits, man, it's really hard. But you know, finally you get it, and it's kind of like, all right, let's go. Now it's kind of let's get it past it and enjoy it.
Did it weigh on you as you got closer? I mean, you started about 100 away when you came into
100.
the season. Did it weigh on you as you started to get closer?
No, not really. I think when it got really close, I think when it was when it kind of started thinking about it, the last couple, you know, and then it didn't help that I kind of got into a little.
Wikipedia during the break, looking up a list. The greatest baseball players of all time. There you were. Right next to Babe Ruth.
I knew that was coming. I knew it. I felt it.
They spelled your name right and everything.
I feel a little stupid now for saying that.
That was a funny one. Babe Ruth, like I said, he takes a little heat on this show because he played in an era before the great black athletes, etc. But I mean, his dominance is undeniable, as we were talking. And in 1920 and 21, back-to-back years, he won the home run title each year by 35 home runs over the second place guy. So that'd be like Judge having 82 and the next guy having, 47. So it was pretty good, the Babe. For his time. Aztecs open tonight against Stony Brook. All right. It's a start. There is a
where did we say Stony Brook was?
The Seawolves.
No. Where are they at?
Oh, they're in Long Island.
Long Island.
Long Island. Yes, I don't know where in Long Island, but they're way away. They came out a long way for this game.
They're way away.
Yeah, they're way out there. South Florida leads Boise State 10-7 at halftime for those keeping track of college football. Tony, we talked a little bit about Texas and Ohio State Saturday and how Julian Sain will get a big opportunity there for the Buckeyes against Arch Manning. How about Monday night? Intrigue you to watch TCU at North Carolina? It intrigues me.
Yep.
Right?
Definitely
you want to see Bill Belichick? Sure. See what he's doing.
I want to see the effect he had on these young men already. See if it's this old, I hate to even do the old school.
The old
thing,
school, right, yeah.
But it's certainly a way that you don't see done very often anymore. And so we'll see what kind of effect it has on young men. We've seen it work on grown men, which is probably harder, a little bit harder to convince people who are far past 18 to get in line, but he has found a way to do it. He wasn't as successful doing it at the end, but he still can do it. I think.
Where do you think where do you think is more important? Belichick's just ability to relate with players, and motivate, or just maybe his plain knowledge of football? Like, does he have that much more than the guy who's coaching for TCU, or is that overrated?
So I think there's a difference between having knowledge and being able to teach it.
Okay.
And I think that's why Bill Belichick cannot get old, or it will take him not being able to teach, which I think he could be able to do for a long time. I think when you have the ability to teach, you have the ability to have an impact. Because it's one thing to have the knowledge, but it's not always easy to be able to then apply that knowledge in a way that someone else can learn from. And I think that's what listening to a few people who have been around Bill, the one thing they say about him is that he can actually coach every position on the field. Like, he knows techniques. And I think that's valuable. If you're a young kid and you actually buy into it, you got some talent, you got a chance to make yourself some money.
I would think, Belichick, again, people forget. He was the defensive coordinator for the Giants under Bill Parcells, like when they were winning the Super Bowl in the 80s. So he's been doing it for a while. It's pretty good. Is Tony flipping a quarter around the desk? Is that what you're doing, Tony?
I was spinning a quarter. I didn't realize it was making that much noise.
Isn't that funny that we can all hear that? Yeah.
Until Skraby started making faces, and I was like, "Oh, I must be making."
I thought it was Chris. Honestly,
it usually is. It usually is. By the way, under the category of having knowledge and not being able to teach it, I've always felt like I knew how to do a talk show. Been trying to teach Skraby. You've seen the results. Ha!
Be a better teacher, coach.
Be a better teacher. Okay, all right, that's fair.
You know what? This wouldn't happen if John Chalesnik, the sports doctor, was here.
Sports doctor, first guy I ever worked with, Tony. John Chalesnik. He was nicknamed himself the sports doctor. Skraby met John Chalesnik as John Chalesnik was a teacher.
Yeah, sports radio guy at Palomar, and I took a class way back when, before I even got into radio. And what was so Chris also had a nickname. He was the sports doctor, and Chris was
The Specialist. That's my first show.
You didn't answer me. What was the special? What are you specialist of?
I don't know that I was specialized in anything, but somebody called in with the nickname, and we thought it sounded good because Chelesnik was the sports doctor, and for the first little while, I was just kind of Chris, and so we had to come up with
sports
something.
doctor and Chris.
Yeah.
And the specialist.
I became the specialist. All of a sudden, I seemed to know what I was talking about. Until
Crazy how that works.
Until Luis Arise moved into the two-hole. Then all of a sudden,
we got
knowledge went away.
We got through it.
We got a big five coming up. Gwynn and Chris.
Indeed. Back at it again, 4:38 in San Diego, 6:38 here in Minneapolis. Tony Gwynn Jr., Chris Ello, Matt Skraby. We have a big five to get to probably pretty quickly here. Do we have a traffic? Yes, that's a thumbs up. Let's get to some traffic and then the big five.
From the 855 Get Ross Traffic Center, protecting San Diego after accidents or injury, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is sponsored by Valvoline Instant Oil Change, your 15-minute drive-through oil change. We still have a number of trouble spots on our roads. Northbound 15 before the 8, still going to find the 2 left lanes blocked with a collision. Also northbound 805 clearing an accident at the East 54 connector ramp. Up ahead, some large tire tread in the 2 right lanes before the 15. Then, North 805 before Governor reports some landscaping debris in the right lanes. On the Coronado Bridge, heading over to the island, stalled vehicle blocking the right lane just past the 5, and heading off the island past the old toll plaza. There is a stall blocking a lane. A couple of problems in the North County along the 78 eastbound side, Twin Oaks Valley Road, a collision. And you can find a traffic alert at 78 at Weekend Villa Road that is closed in both directions, all due to an injury accident. Before you hit the beach, the mountains, or even the 5 this Labor Day weekend, be road trip ready with Valvoline Instant Oil Change. No appointment needed. Stay in your car while they change your oil and check your tires, battery, and fluids. Coupons at SoCalOilChange.com. And Kelly Danick with Gwynn and Chris, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
It's that time of the show when we check on the latest in sports. Only the most important topics and questions are brought to light.
Stop what you're doing and listen.
These news stories will astound and amaze you. The one, the only.
Oh my God, who the hell cares?
The Big Five starts now on 97.3 The Fan.
All right. This hour on 97.3 The Fan is brought to you by Nativa Interiors. This Labor Day weekend, 2 iconic design companies are joining forces for a warehouse sale. Join Nativa Interiors and Hold It Contemporary Home in Miramar for huge discounts on living, dining, bedroom, and outdoor furnishings. Call or text for more details at 619-215-6893. We're going to talk about Eric Weddle here to start off the Big Five. We're also going to talk about Americans betting on football. And then at the end, the NFL has taken or stolen the City Connect idea from Major League Baseball, and they are now themselves doing, they're not calling it City Connect, but it's called like rivalry jerseys or something.
That's what they're calling it. Yeah. 8 teams have released them. Have you seen them yet, Tony?
I saw some of the modeled quarterbacks that were out there doing, include Josh Allen, who I think was front and center.
He was. Yeah.
I like him. You know, I'm a sucker for new uniforms. You know that.
Yeah.
49ers ones look sweet.
I'm an old guy, and it's like one uniform for each team. Enough.
Just the same one all year. You got rips in the uniform.
Perfectly fine.
Just one jersey.
But even though I'm that guy, I kind of like all these uniforms.
I do too.
I've come around to it.
I do too. We'll talk about those at the end.
Number 5.
Rancho Bernardo High School football coach Eric Weddle has seen kids dropping out of his team in big numbers. On the Coach JB show, Weddle said, quote, "I try to help the kids see the big picture, what it looks like to be successful in the next part of life. Kids and parents have a tough time with this, and I think there are better there are better options elsewhere. At the end of the day, we have a standard, and they'd rather leave or not play," end quote. So, Tony, you're up first today. Is this a parent problem or a kid problem?
Ooh, what? That's a good question there, son.
That's a good question.
He says, what?
But let's also first say that we're just believing in that Eric Weddle is making a point which a lot of us think about now, and that is, you know, do kids really want to be worked? Do they really want to be, stick to it, or do they want kind of an easier road?
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Listen, I can only speak for myself and how my wife and I kind of think that it's a both deal, right? I mean, the child is raised by the parents. They tend to parrot or, do the things that your parents are requiring you to do. It's usually followed by that. And usually when that's not the case, a coach can be hard on a kid and parents will understand it. I do think it's probably a problem of both. There are standards as it pertains, especially football. I mean, there's probably as much discipline in that sport as there is in any of the sports in terms of what is being asked of you. And I can only imagine a former NFL Pro Bowler that is now a high school coach has probably higher than normal expectations, and there's nothing wrong with that. And those kids that may not ever make it to the end, maybe not even play college, they will be better for those lessons learned from a guy like Eric Weddle. Whether they go on to be pros, collegiate or not, those are the type of that is originally why our parents put us in sports. Wasn't to be pros or to, be successful in that sport necessarily. It was about the life lessons you learn as you become in the next phase of your life. And I think we've kind of all lost track of that because it is so lucrative now for young athletes to get to the next level. And so I'm with Eric on that, man. I think it's probably a little bit of both.
Chris, parent problem, kid problem?
I'm going to blame the parents more. I think
you do that.
I will. I think the kids think about it, and I think the parents, if they brought them up properly and laid the right framework and groundwork from the beginning, I think they could then make a difference when the moment was at hand. And I look at somebody like Tony Gwynn Jr., whose kids, I believe, have been parented quite well and are all having different levels of success in their sport, but I do believe are still pretty well-rounded kids. And I don't think any of Tony Gwynn Jr.'s kids would even be thinking about leaving a situation because the going got a little tough. And I've seen this on the women's basketball side many times. Playing time isn't quite what you want. Time to transfer, time to quit. And I pretty much, I get a little of the background inside on this stuff, Tony, and I hear most of the time the parents are the ones leading the charge. So I shouldn't say it's in all situations because every situation's different. Let's be honest. But I think parents might be more at fault here than we think. I don't know. Just my thought.
All right. Yep. Em McKee is one of our top listeners to the show. Her son is JV at Rancho Bernardo, and then another listener, Nate, his son is on the freshman squad. But I guess at the parent meeting, it sounded like a lot of kids left to play club for their other sports. So I think they have less than 40 kids on this team right now, or at least when the article was written.
That's a whole nother that's a whole nother conversation. The club element, playing year round. I was just having this conversation with AJ, and I was asking him his opinion on my son in terms of, I had been thinking, you start, and this is a great question because it opens up so many things. This is the conundrum that all parents fall into now, is that even if they are of this thought that we are, you start to get around your other parents and the pressure starts to mount. You start to feel like, man, if I don't get my son in this or my daughter in this, they're missing out. And that's the tough part, man. When you're around, it's when you get around your other peers, your other parents, and they're talking about it. And so, the specialization of one sport is part of the whole thing that I'm talking about in terms of you lost track of what kids are actually in sports for. They're specializing because they're trying to make it in that particular sport right now. And so, I think that's the tough part, man. And it's kids miss out on being the best athlete they can in terms of playing multiple sports. But it's hard because that's what the Joneses is doing.
It's such a different world from when we played sports, Tony. It's such a different world.
Way different.
How about when I played back in the dark ages?
Even more different.
You played high school baseball with a stick.
When the coach told me to run through the wall, I just did it.
Just did it.
Whatever happened to that?
Yeah. There's two players from my senior year high school team that ended up going pro, and only one of them is still in the NFL ranks, which is Kevin O'Connell. So if you're thinking your kid's going to go pro, it's a long shot for them to go pro. I mean, it's a long shot. It's not.
I understand parents now, wanting their kids to dream big for sure.
Yeah. But be realistic.
I think there's got to be a realistic.
Yeah, my parents realized real quick I was not going to be the pro athlete lottery ticket.
Well, they saw Babe Ruth and
Number 4.
Americans are projected to wager $30 billion on the NFL this season through legal sportsbook, an 8.5% increase from last year's $27.5 billion, according to the American Gaming Association. This figure includes all bets from preseason through Super Bowl 60. And in 2024, the NFL generated more bets and money than any other league at DraftKings, despite having fewer games than the NBA and Major League Baseball. So, Chris, you're up. Why do people bet more on football than any other sport?
I think they started earlier. When I was a little kid, sorry to do this to you, Skraby, but the Wednesday, I'll be honest with you, the Wednesday LA Times in the back put all the point spreads of the football games. This is, 30 years ago.
But it wasn't even legal, so I don't understand why they did that.
I don't know why do car commercials show cars driving 90 miles an hour and spinning around? That's not legal necessarily to do.
That's a good point.
That sells the cars, I guess. I don't know. I just think the NFL has been longer built around the odds of the game. That's all. Because I think all the other sports are catching up.
Tony, what do you think? Why do they bet more on football?
Yeah, I think we just conditioned to bet football more. We've been doing it longer. You've had these prop bets going for quite some time now, and there's just more to bet on in football in the course of a game. And football was like the first guinea pig of it all. And so I think everybody's just conditioned to it.
Number 3.
It was recently revealed on the Post Moves podcast, South Carolina women's basketball coach Dawn Staley interviewed for the previously vacant Knicks head coach job. Here is what Dawn Staley had to say on that podcast.
What I interviewed for the Knicks. I did. It was the same interview that everybody else that was in their candidate pool. Same thing. Went in. I mean, it was like hours, but in the interview, I thought I did pretty well. I was well prepared for the interview, right? If the Knicks would have offered me the job, I would have had to do it, okay? Not just for me, it's for women, for just to break open that I would have to, and it's the New York Knicks, and I'm from Philly, but it's the freaking New York Knicks. And I did say that in the interview. Like, I said.
Okay, I'm just gonna, in case she swears again. I didn't watch it all the way through, but she was getting close there. So,
Skraby hits a panic.
I did. Once she said the first one, I was like, oh, the other one's coming. My question to you, Tony: do you think Dawn Staley would be successful as a head coach in the NBA?
Yeah, why not? I don't know that what defines success. Like win an NBA championship?
No. Multiple years, winning teams.
Put it this way: I think she would be a good head coach in the NBA, regardless of, what that success looks like. I think she would be good. I think she could get men to buy in and follow. I think she probably has a ton of respect because she played and she's Hall of Famer ultimately. So that comes with a little cachet. I think she'd do great, and I think she's right. She probably would have felt obligated to take that job regardless because of, it's the first. She'd be the first. Yeah. So, I think she'd do a terrific job.
Chris?
All the things Tony said. Really a Dawn Staley fan, except every now and again when she starts gloating about South Carolina's team. But most of the I'm really a Dawn Staley fan.
Did anybody else think, I hope I don't get in trouble for saying this, but did anybody else think of the movie Eddie when you think of
I didn't. No.
Dawn Staley coaching the New York
Such a stupid movie that
was an amazing movie. So
right, here we go.
Tony, did you like Eddie?
Yes, even
Yes, I like
remember it.
Eddie, but I
Oh,
don't
you
think
do?
it Don Staley when
I mean, it's the same thing. Whoopi Goldberg became the head coach of the New York Knicks.
Whoopi Goldberg cannot play basketball. It's not the same.
Okay.
Number 2.
It's a great movie, Eddie. She was a limo driver. She
I
got
like the movie
interview.
too. I enjoyed it.
Coach Prime had an idea in the ever-changing world of college sports. Deion Sanders, he came up with an idea for the college football playoff that nobody really has mentioned yet, which is pay the players for making the tournament and pay them more if they're or when their teams win. If they do that, then quote, now it's equality, now it's even, and every player is making the same amount of money. Nick Saban also said college sports before was working towards the goal of professional sports, and you build your worth and value through the years of college football, but those days are long gone. So, Chris, should college football playoff teams get money for making the tournament and then winning in the tournament?
I like the idea. I haven't had time to ferret out all the pros and cons.
11 weeks is ferret.
But I do like it, and I like it a whole lot better than giving somebody like Arch Manning $8 million because his name's Manning and he hasn't even taken a snap.
Fair enough. Tony, what do you think?
Yeah,
should they get
I
money?
like the idea.
All right.
I think it would also prevent dudes from like not participating in the bowl games. Obviously,
That
right?
would be
I mean,
big, yeah.
You're getting broke off. You're gonna have your whole team in there ready to roll. And if it's like the NFL playoffs, everybody's getting the same amount. You know, it's one. Everybody's getting the same slice, so nobody feels slighted. It's not. You know, it's. I like it. I like the idea.
All right. Number 1 was just about the NFL uniforms. You guys like them? The new
love it.
It's better than the
Love
Color
it.
Rush uniforms that they had for
I
sure.
like Color Rush. I told you I'm a sucker for uniforms.
Me too.
I like the Color
The
Rush.
Color Rush game between the Bills and the Jets was an all-timer, though, because if you remember, the people that
Red,
were
green.
colorblind couldn't see the game.
They couldn't.
That was
hilarious.
a classic moment
That
in
is
television
hilarious.
history.
All right, that's it, guys. We will be back tomorrow. Ryan O'Hearn scheduled on the show, so don't miss it. We start at 2 p.m. I'll be back at 6 p.m. We have the roundtable from earlier today up next on Gwynn and
Get
Chris.
your drafts ready, boys.
97.3 The Fan.
Draft time.
That's right, I forgot.
Now, here's your host, Fire Faithful. Now, here's your host.
host, Ben Higgins.
Here we go. Final month of the regular season. Welcome into our 97.3 The Fan Padres Roundtable. It is presented commercial-free by San Diego Roundtable Pizza. It really is pizza royalty, and we're joined by what I would say now is the regular gang here of 97.3 The Fan hosts. Matt Skraby on my far left, Stephen Woods, Paul Reindl, Braden Soprenet, and Chris Ello. I'm Ben Higgins. We'll be talking about the San Diego Padres for the next 60 minutes. I have a problem, though. We have gotten to that point in the baseball season after the trade deadline, and things have started to settle in. Padres are playing mostly good baseball, obviously not perfect, but there's not much you can do about it at this point. You can tinker with the lineup a little bit. I think we have talked about that ad nauseum for the last couple of weeks. You can't really make any trades or moves at this point. The team is the team at this point, and as fans, we kind of have to now just sit back and see what happens. Woods, you're kind of nodding. We're kind of at that point that there's not a lot more that can be done.
It's the old grin and bear it, man. Grab on, white knuckle, and here we go. It's off for the roller coaster ride that is September with a good team. You know, a team that has aspirations and a team with legitimate potential to go all the way. There's no question about it. I stand behind that. I'd be a moron to say that they will, but I don't think any team can say that right now. And you're right. You really have to just kind of wear it. I've said it many times. They give us the soup. You can either eat the soup or you don't. That's it. I mean, you can't sit and play with the soup. You just have to eat it or you don't. That's it.
And you eat the soup or do you drink the soup?
I eat the soup.
That's drinking, though.
That's true.
Depends if it's the chunky soup you can eat with a fork.
Well, this is a pretty decent clam chowder of a roster with a lot of different pieces of, fish and potatoes and everything that we can talk about. But it's mostly about our feelings at this point. How do you feel about the team right now? So, Matt, I will start with our first question today. Did this series against the Seattle Mariners reveal any concerns you have for the San Diego Padres for the rest of the regular season or the postseason based on what you saw against another playoff, assuming a playoff participant?
I'm concerned about how good the Mariners are because 1 through 5 is one of the most dangerous parts of any lineup in all of baseball. You got guys that can hit the ball out. You got Eugenio Suarez hitting back-to-back, not back-to-back, but in back-to-back games, 3-run home runs. What I'm concerned about a little bit is how when they get ahead early, they don't put more runs on the board. And I know that they have great pitching, so maybe it's like, hey, let's just status quo. Let's get our pitching. We'll win 5-0, no big deal. But I am a little concerned about sometimes going and putting that foot on the throat and trying to end the game early so that there's no possible way they can come back. But then they fought back on Tuesday, and they won the game. So I'm just more concerned about the little things right now that they need to do to clean up for the playoffs.
Chris, what about you? Anything stand out from this series that put my finger on that one, nip that in the bud?
No, I think I actually saw some things I really liked in this series. I mean, I could point to the fact that they've still only won one series all year against a winning team on the road, which sounds drastic, but then I looked it up. The Dodgers have only won 3 of those. So, teams you don't beat good teams on the road. That's what makes them good teams. So I didn't lose any confidence. I actually gained a little confidence watching Fernando taking some balls, one over the fence, but hitting a couple up against the fence. I saw a couple of outfielders racing to the warning track. So I'm hoping that is a sign that he's going to start again hitting the ball with some more authority. Other than that, I already know that the Mariners have more power than we do, and we have to find other ways. But no, I'm fine.
Woods, what about you? Anything standing out from that series against the Mariners?
I really covet Brian Wu. I tell you that. That's one thing that stands out. I would do almost anything to have a guy like that. I really enjoyed watching him pitch yesterday. I did. And probably the first time I've watched him pitch this season. And they throw those gaudy numbers up there, and you're like, great. That's should be a tough test for the fellas. I mean, what stood out to me is that Manny Machado's got to get it going. He's really, really dying right now. I know he had a couple hits on Tuesday, but none of which looked like the Manny Machado that we know when he's locked in. He's got to get it going, certainly. We're not going to go anywhere without him. I think, Worried, not so much. I wasn't upset about losing yesterday's game. And actually, I know people hate when they say this, but I appreciated the battle back yesterday. I did. They grinded some out and they got close and had a chance to tie the ball game late and win the ball game. So I'm not too worried.
Braden, how are the feels at the moment for you with the Padres?
It feels good. I don't think anything that happened this week made anything worse. I know losing 2 out of 3 is not great. I know you look at the standings and being, 2 games, essentially 3 games back now of a division is not necessarily the best, but this is the last 3 games against a team that was going to be very good on your schedule. I know there's a couple left at the end of the year with Milwaukee and the New York Mets, but you're about to embark on playing a bunch of teams that aren't very good where you can get right and hopefully get on a little bit of a roll. And this was finishing up a really brutal stretch for the Padres, at least that we all thought going into it. So from that standpoint, I think it's fine. You're going to lose series every once in a while. They're not going to win every single series. And like Wood said, I like the way they battled in pretty much all of the games this week in Seattle. They did answer when they would drop to a deficit. Now, I don't like them blowing a couple of leads that they did on Monday and Tuesday. They got to be able to add on, but if that's really the only problem, I think we're okay moving into the next series.
These are all Mike Schilt approved answers to the first question of the roundtable. Paulie, anything else that you'd like to add that Mike Schilt would love to hear about his team right now?
Actually, probably not. Schilt, turn it off. I'm a little surprised that nobody brought up what I was about to bring up because I'm thinking this might be a little critical now. I'm concerned with you, Darvish, and of course with Dylan Cease. And I'm concerned with the Jekyll and Hyde every other start inconsistency. Inconsistency drives me, at least as a fan, insane. If you're throwing out Kyle Hart as the 5th guy in your rotation or, a JP Sears, somebody that like a 4 or 5 ERA and you're like, it's our 5th guy. Like you kind of know what you're expecting going into that. You have no idea what to expect right now with Dylan Cease in particular. And also now you Darvish, who will show us signs of brilliance. Like I fully expect you to go 7 strong innings in his next start, and then we'll have the same conversation. Is he back? I don't know, because then he goes out and then has another rough start. It's the inconsistency is concerning, especially as you get down the stretch here with regular season games that are going to mean a lot and postseason games that are going to mean even more. How do you account for that? How do you plan for? Right now, 2/5 of your rotation, 2 guys that you need to lean on, and you have no idea which version of that pitcher you're going to get.
I'm not surprised someone brought up starting pitching. I thought that would be certainly one of the areas where you felt like the Padres need to get more for the rest of the regular season, if not the playoffs, where you can lean on your bullpen a little bit more, but they're not getting deep enough efforts from a majority of their starting pitchers. We talked about it on our show. I did some Chris Ello type research, except I did it digitally. Chris would write in very small print on a piece of paper and would have all these numbers lined up.
I would not write. I have an abacus.
Even better, because he's good at this. But I felt very Chris Ello-like when I went this morning, and I went back 21 games to really look at the Padres starting pitching and what has been the issue. And the Padres have played pretty well. They're 13-8 over their last 21. But the starting pitching has really done well. They have not given up that many hits, both starting pitching and bullpen. They've out-hit their opponents 180 to 131. 131 hits in 21 games is only about a little over 6 a game. So you're not giving up much in terms of hits. Here's what's killing the Padres. In those same games, they've been out-homered 29 to 21. That's almost 1 out of every 4.5 hits that the Padres are giving up. They don't give up many, but when they do, they leave the ballpark.
Well, and did your research account for like solo home runs versus with guys on? Because it really feels like we get a lot of the solos and we give up a lot of the 3 runs.
Yeah, there certainly has been more than a fair share of 3-run homers. Padres did have a grand slam the other day. It was important in a victory. But I don't know what to do about that. Your pitching has been very, very good almost the entire game, except when you do give it up, you give it up big. And we saw that with you, Darvish. Again, didn't pitch that badly, but when he gave it up big on a 3-run home run, and it proved to be very costly. And Chris, I hope you appreciate the numbers. I have no idea what to do with those, but yeah, the Padres simply have been victimized by the big swing over and over and over again these last few weeks.
Yeah, Skraby and Tony and listeners have kind of, poked fun at me because all year I've been keeping track of how few 3-run home runs the Padres have. So not only have they been giving them up, Ben, the Padres don't hit many of them. I believe they have 8 3-run home runs this year, and I believe that's the least in baseball. They did get their 3rd grand slam. I don't know what you do. I mean, what do you try harder when there's 2 men on base?
Pitch better, I guess.
I don't know how you account for that. Maybe the fact that they're so low in 3-run homers, just the fact they're low in home runs overall. But 3-run homers win games and then lose if you give them up. You got to bear down, I guess, a little more in those situations. But it's a great point. I'm glad someone else has kind of noticed it because I've been following it along all year, and Skraby and Tony keep saying, well, what does that really mean?
Right.
I go, I don't know what it means. I just know it's there.
And I know I don't like it.
I don't know.
Right.
I don't know if it's the Padres need to hit more or their pitchers need to give up fewer. Neither is that easy just to do. And Woods, you made the point this morning.
Boy, don't we sound like a bunch of geniuses? Give up less home runs and hit more home runs.
Brilliant.
It's not that hard, guys.
As Woods said, the Padres put together a roster this year. It's not like it's filled with 5'7" weaklings throughout the lineup. They've got big, strong guys who are certainly capable of hitting home runs.
They were supposed to.
Yeah,
right?
they're just not doing it this year.
Yeah, they were supposed to. The Manny Machado with 21 homers, Fernando Tatis Jr. with 18 homers. Jackson Merrill's been injured. We were expecting a power jump from him. He's been injured a lot. And if you didn't add Laureano and O'Hearn, I mean, the numbers look even worse. So it's not that they are incapable. It's just that they haven't. And again, I don't, you don't go into October like any one of those guys can hit the ball out of the ballpark, right? They just haven't. And so does it give you a shred of hope that, they can punish mistakes in the biggest moments? Maybe. We have a lot of mistakes punished against us. We don't punish many mistakes. We hit a single, we hit a double, we bunt them over, we give away outs a lot. And, then hope for another single to drive in 2 runs. When other teams are able to get a cookie, hit it out of the ballpark after a walk and a single, and you're down 3-0. So Manny is capable of more. Fernando is capable of more. A lot of those guys in the lineup are capable of more.
It's our 97.3 The Fan Padres Roundtable, presented commercial-free by San Diego Roundtable Pizza. It really is pizza royalty. One other concern that saw during that series, and he still contributed in a big time toward the win on Tuesday, was Freddie Fermin, but his numbers have dropped off precipitously over the last 9 or 10 games or so. I think he's 3 for his last 30. And I wonder, because we saw it with Bob Melvin riding, Austin Nola too hard in the playoffs. And now Mike Schilt has his new catcher, who's certainly an upgrade over what they had before, but been riding him really hard. I think they looked at Freddie Fermin and said, hasn't played that much because he was behind Salvador Perez all year, so he's got some legs under him. Let's use him a lot. But after just like 3 weeks, after the hot start, all of a sudden it looks like it may be taking its toll. Do you think, Braden, they're going to have to be a little more cautious and conservative with their use of Freddie Fermin and put Elias Diaz back into the lineup maybe a couple of times a week as opposed to the once a week he's been playing over the last month?
Yeah, I think so. That's why when, the lineups come out and people freak out that Diaz is in the lineup instead of Fermin, my response is always, well, he's going to have to start eventually because this guy can't catch every single day for the Padres as much as you would like him to. And that's why, you have 2 catchers. So, for me, for the rest of the season, it'd be nice to have Diaz catch a little bit more, than he has been, just to keep Fermin fresh. But as long as Fermin feels like he's ready to go and can compete by the time it comes to the playoffs, then I think it'd be okay. But until then, to me, the Padres, you're trying to track down the Dodgers for the division, but at the same time, you're most likely very high percentage, as you said, 99.5% chance of making the postseason. They're going to be in the postseason, and I'd rather have your guys fresh and ready to go, the ones that are going to be postseason players every day, fresh and ready to go. So I think the Padres should use Diaz a little bit more. It might not be great for offensive production, but look, you saw Diaz play the other day on a Sunday, hit a bomb. Yep. So maybe him, having more days off than he was at the beginning of the season makes Diaz slightly better.
That's an interesting point that Braden just brought up, and I hadn't really even thought of it. Matt Skraby, is it potentially more valuable, instead of chasing with all your might to try to chase down the Dodgers and win the division and maybe get that first round bye, hey, let's just treat these last games like normal games. Let's rest guys. Let's try to play well, obviously, and win. But let's be fresh for the playoffs. And if that means we have to play a wild card series, it means we might have to go on the road for a wild card series. We'll do so at peak strength rather than having just finished an absolute sprint of a month where we tried to chase down the Dodgers, but maybe ultimately weren't able to secure that bye in the first round. Is there a validity all to approaching this last month in a more laid back fashion? I don't know if that's the word to it, but
yeah, I think there is, because you don't want to see them gas when they get into the playoffs. You don't want to see them grinding for the last month when they get into the playoffs. And I think that this team, they should just focus on them and not worry about the Dodgers, not worry about the wild card, and just play their game, because when they play their game, they're very good and they win games, and they have a really easy September left here on the schedule. So maybe winning will help take care of some of that resting. But I would like to see some guys get some time off if they can do that down the stretch. I think it's important. And I think that I want to see more Diaz too. I was reading this thing about him earlier this week, and he says that he is now Pavetta Day, my day. I spend all week preparing for that. And I also get time in the cages more now. I get time to do other stuff. So maybe Diaz, this is going to help him a little bit. Like Braden said, he hit a bomb on Sunday. So why not put him in there a couple more times over the last month?
It makes a lot of sense to me, Paulie, but I also know if the Padres ended up tied with the Dodgers at the end of the year and lost the tiebreaker, and Mike Schild had started Bryce Johnson 3 times to get, Fernando and Laureano some days off so that they were fresh, and they lost, we'd all be going crazy like, oh man, if you had just gone for it, we could be sitting here maybe with a bye in the first round of the playoffs.
Yeah, I don't know if I don't know, man. I think this is kind of when it starts to ramp up for playoff caliber teams. I don't think you take your foot off the gas even a little bit. And I know that for the most part, if you looked at the 56 years of Padres history, these games in September, for the most part, have been irrelevant. They're not anymore. They're very relevant. And the Padres, you hope, are going to be relevant late August, early September every year from here on out. It's not always going to be the case. But right now with this squad, these are playoff games. Did anybody think the 3 in Seattle didn't feel like playoff games? What about the 3 before that against the Dodgers? That definitely felt like some playoff games. Even these games with the strength of schedule being what it is, I think it's even more important. Yeah. You don't have to go balls to the wall, full throttle. Hey, we got a 4-run lead, but here comes Mason Miller. Like, I don't think you change anything. I think you just stick with what has been working. And if it's, a 2-1 ball game against the lowly Rockies, guess what? Here comes the fist or whatever that we're calling the bullpen. Like, you still have to play your game because home field advantage does make a difference. If it doesn't work out and you end up in the wild card, great. You want to be at home. You don't want to go on the road to New York or to Chicago or Philly or anything like that. I think the Brewers they've all but clinched the number 1 spot. They are far and away better than everybody, but you have to take care of business against these lower level teams. Your wins will accrue. You can't control what the Dodgers do or the Phillies do. You can root against them, but you have to keep the foot on the gas.
It's interesting. Padres are going to play the easiest remaining schedule, Chris, and you do feel like, hey, if you're a good enough team, you should be able to win these games without necessarily with your foot all the way down on the accelerator all the way through, but you also can't afford to lose those games when you have that opportunity presented, as they do over the next 3 series against teams that have no chance to make the playoffs and are looking at young kids, looking to the future. These are the teams that you have to not just win series, but you got to sweep some of these the rest of the way.
First of all, the Padres have done that this year, and I hope they'll continue to. I believe they're 22 games over 500 against losing teams. That has been one of their secret sauces. Secondly, I really do think you have to get a bye in the first round of the playoffs if you can get it. I'll go back to almost the first thing we talked about today. The Padres have won 1 series on the road against a winning team. If they finish right now in the 5 spot, they will go to Wrigley Field. They will have to win a series that weekend to advance in the playoffs. Not easily done. So if you can get the division or even at least get home field for the wild card, you do it. And I don't think you have to do anything special. Like Paulie said, this isn't basketball. You're not asking guys to play 48 minutes. It's not football. I mean, you're just going up there, take your at-bats, play your game, do what you do, and let the chips fall where they may. But I guess mentally you could say, should you keep your foot on the gas? And I think you should. I mean, get yourself ready for the postseason. That's the best way to do it.
I fully understand. I get the rest. But the reward will be I don't want to call it a sprint because I don't think you need to change anything one way or the other. But I think if you get that first round bye or at least home field advantage, that's your reward for grinding it out over these last 4 weeks of the season.
It's a mentality too. I mean, you've seen so many teams cruise through August and September and have the division locked up, for many years. And the Braves have done it. The Dodgers have done it a bunch, and you get to October, and it's a whole different ballgame. And listen, if you can't get up for October playoff baseball and you're tired, I don't know what to tell you. You're in the wrong business. I mean, that's what you live for. It's what you grind so hard for. And if you can't get up for those games and you're tired in those games, I don't think I want you here. Honestly, and it's certainly not an excuse. Nor is that bye week of rest, the rest versus rust, never an excuse. Never. It's never an excuse.
Get the bye, and you'll have a couple days to rest.
That would be 100%. No one would be unhappy with that
Nobody.
outcome, for sure. It's our 97.3 The Fan Padres Roundtable, presented commercial-free by San Diego Roundtable Pizza. It really is pizza royalty. And ultimately, once again, we're dipping our toes into the water of how should Mike Shildt be managing this team, which is silly for the six of us to sit and tell a lifelong baseball guy how he should be doing his job. But that's kind of what our job is, to tell him how to do his job, or at least give some
people
opinions.
how to do their jobs.
And we had Saris on this morning, and he made the suggestion that the Padres would be perhaps better served by getting a little chaotic, he said, in the playoffs, and being willing to think outside the box, be unorthodox when it comes to the usage of Dylan Sheets, lineup construction.
Who is Dylan Sheets?
Who is Dylan? Did that again. Gavin Sheets, Dylan Cease, and having their lineup construction and be willing to change things up a little bit. I don't see Mike Shildt as being the kind of guy who appreciates chaos.
So I said it on the show this morning, and I said, man, all right, I love the idea. And in a fun radio conversation, it makes a lot of sense. And for a lot of people, a lot of managers, they're comfortable doing it. I think Dave Roberts is comfortable with a little chaos. I think he is. He certainly proved it last year. I think Kevin Cash and AJ Hinch was watching AJ Hinch manage last year. Knowing he had one starting pitcher in Tarek Skubal was amazing. Now, they didn't get very far, but they got a hell of a lot further than they would have had he gone, I've got a game 1 starter, a game 2 starter, and a game 3 starter. I'm going to let him go 5, and then I'm going to go to my bullpen. You were going to be asking maybe the most old school baseball guy there is to say, all right, man, throw it all out the window. We're going to get nuts here. Nestor Cortez is going to start. Dylan Cease, I know you got me calling. Dylan Cease is going to come in the 3rd, right? Are we going to ask Mike Shildt to do that? Are we going to ask him to manage differently? I don't know. What do we say about the NFL?
Is that a good idea?
Is it a good idea? We always say about the NFL, stick to what got you there. Don't manage differently in the playoffs than you normally would. But I'm in favor of it because I love chaos. I think it's brilliant. And I think, any edge you can get is a good one.
But if that makes Schulte uncomfortable, is it a good idea?
Correct.
I'll ask Braden, because I think football is the sport in which the regular season feels most like the playoffs, because there's so few games. You kind of have to treat every game like a playoff game. Baseball, the playoffs are a completely different entity than the regular season. There's more days off. The games are much more meaningful. You almost have to have a different strategy in baseball. You're not doing it right if you have the same strategy in the baseball playoffs
of what got you
did
there
in the regular season. In football, you're playing to win every single game as hard as you can. But in baseball, you're not. But you have to in the postseason. So doesn't that require a different strategy?
I think so. I think teams that have won the World Series are doing that. I think you see teams that have won the World Series and changed a couple of things. You're seeing teams, as Mike Shildt likes to use the phrase of going after wins, I mean, that's what they're going to do. And they're going to, starting pitchers be damned on certain nights. That you got through the order one time, sounds good. We got a bullpen that's locked down. We're going to go to it. I mean, that's something you would never do in the regular season because you got to play, 162 of these things, and you pace yourself in the playoffs. It's all hands on deck, and I think it's all hands on deck for every pitcher. Every starter wants the ball every single day. They're like, hey, I know I pitched yesterday, but I can give you another couple batters, all of a sudden, all these guys in the lineup and on the team start giving you even more than you would normally get out of the regular season because they know it's win or go home now. So I think the strategy does change a little bit. And I think Mike Schilt will make some adjustments that create a little bit of chaos. I can see them. And this is why I'm not as concerned about the starting pitching, because a lot of the starters, like Paul said with the Jacqueline Hyde, they get you the first time through the order, they look really good, and then flip to the next guy, right? Because with the extra days off, I think that changes your strategy. I think your strategy changes, and I think the team with the best advantage right now is the team that's got the best bullpen, and right now it's the San Diego Padres. So I think he does manage it a little bit differently in the playoffs, and I think he should. I think that's the key to success in professional baseball.
I'm not saying he's incapable of it by a long stretch. But again, based on just who he is as a skipper and how he thinks and how he talks, right? You don't get the sense ever that he would be super comfortable with telling his starting pitcher that's made 30 starts for him, I'm going to need you in the third, instead of opening the game like we've done for 150 years.
But who was his mentor? Tony La Russa.
Yep.
Was unafraid to do some things
fearless,
outside the box and unorthodox. And I don't think Mike Schilt is at all afraid of making some changes.
No,
I think he does believe, at least in the regular season, of having a steady hand on the ship and not being unpredictable and making wild changes that his players aren't expecting. I think if he makes a change, he will telegraph it. He will communicate those changes with his players, and he will do so responsibly and gradually. But I don't think he's afraid, Paulie, of making a change when he thinks that it is absolutely necessary to do so.
Really?
Yeah, I really do.
Last year he did. Right?
You didn't convince Paul.
I didn't. But his mentor
Paulie's not sold.
If he truly learned at the foot of Tony La Russa.
Last year they did.
Tony La Russa was a guy who definitely did some things that the normal baseball school would go, what's Tony La Russa doing here?
Look, I would love to see it. I just don't think Schulte's going to do it. Extreme. I think if we got to the playoffs and you had a way to look into the future and know that one of the managers is going to go a little bit unconventional, do things a little bit crazy, I think a Dodgers fan is more confident in Dave Roberts doing that because they've seen it than a Padres fan would be in Mike Schilt, because we haven't really seen that. And it's not his style. Took Dave Roberts, what did he been in 4 World Series? 1-1? 1-2, I guess, technically. It came with some failures, for sure. Yeah. You think a little too far outside the box, and we saw it backfire, and we all laughed. Then until it didn't backfire, and they won the World Series.
Yes, and now they're laughing.
It worked.
Yeah.
I just don't have a whole lot of confidence in telling a guy like Mike Schilt, who's very set in his more old school style, hey man, I know these are the most important games, going to need you to switch things up a little bit. I don't think he's going to be comfortable doing that, and I don't know that it's a good idea necessarily to put a manager in an uncomfortable situation like that. Now, if they want to start it, I say start it tomorrow. Start getting weird, seeing what works and what doesn't. But I don't think that's going to happen either.
Isn't he already in another way, isn't he unconventional in the fact that the Padres lead Major League Baseball by a wide margin in sacrifice bunts?
That's very
squeeze
unconventional.
Plays and moving runners along. They do some things differently than others. This, to me, sounds like a very disguised way of asking us whether we should move Luis Ariz out of the number 2.
Wow.
That's what this sounds like to me. Is that what, I'm sure Saros, because he's already talked about it, but what kinds of things is he talking about? You said Sheets. So what is he
talking about starting pitching.
He doesn't want to.
So I think it's more, and I was going to bring this up. It's what the question for all of you here is, what's the best way to use Dylan Cease going forward?
All right.
Because I think that's going to require the most outside-the-box thinking, Matt Skraby. How do you use Dylan Cease rest of the regular season, but even more importantly, once you get to the playoffs?
They always say, let the game come to them, right? So in the playoffs, maybe you manage with the game coming to you. And I remember the 2014 Giants, when they won the World Series, they had Tim Lincecum come out of the bullpen in the playoffs, and it worked for them. And they also had Madison Bumgarner pitching 3 days in a row, basically, to try to win that World Series. I think you do. I think you should really consider having Dylan Cease come out of the bullpen, even if it's for an inning. You need one good inning, then let it happen, because I don't want him to start a playoff game.
But he's going to have to. That's the thing that we need to talk about, is he's absolutely going to have to start a playoff game. You have to ensure that it's at home and not on the road. That has to be – there are no black and white here. He starts at home at Petco Park, no matter the opponent. It can't be on the road. You have to jigger your lineup as such, your rotation as such. It's got to be at Petco, and it's got to be for – one time through the order.
Yeah, Morejon has to be warming up in the fourth inning.
100%.
He hasn't earned anything more than that.
You have to have the temerity after Dylan Cease goes 9 up, 9 down, 10 up, 10 down, 12 up, 12 down to go. You're done. It's all I need you for.
I agree with
to
that.
be able to answer those questions. Even if you lose a 1-0 ball game, you gotta do it. And if Morejon comes in and gives up a solo shot, the next pitch, you have to be able to space the media and go, that's our process. The whole season has led up to this. Don't question my process. It was the right process. We didn't get the right result.
You have to be willing to eat it the way Kevin Cash did when he took out Blake Snell
for years
in the World Series.
And the guy still looks like, now he looks like a
this
genius.
Morning, I think after all I know about Blake Snell,
it was the right move.
I think it was the right move. It didn't work out.
Raise your hand if you crushed him the next day on the air. I know I did. I crushed him.
And Mike Schultz may have to make the same decision about Dylan Cease in the playoffs, Chris, taking out a pitcher who looks really effective before the ticking time bomb goes off rather than after.
Yeah, he doesn't get to start on the road. I mean, there's no question. He hasn't won a game on the road. I think the fourth inning, the fifth inning, you're keeping a very watchful eye. It is interesting, the Kevin Cash. I'm going back to that for a second because they took out what they thought was the right thing, and a lot of people agree. They took out a guy who would go on to then win another Cy Young. They replaced him with a guy named Nick Anderson, who is the 8th guy on the Colorado Rockies bullpen now. Yeah. That's who they brought in instead of him.
He was really good at the time, though.
I know, but it's just interesting, the decisions that get made. And there's no question, Dylan Cease hasn't earned anything beyond that, but I do think he has to start the fourth game, or as Woodsy said, the second game if it's at home, because you can't pitch him on the road.
You cannot pitch him on the road. You cannot pitch him in a winner take all. Honestly,
certainly not 3 days rest.
Not 3 days rest. Again, Braden brought that up. Maybe that was what Braden was talking about. Mike Schultz did go kind of off script with that last year. Raise your hand if you agreed with that move last year. I did.
But he did it to start him at home.
He did,
which didn't work out either.
We also have so many unknowns. Like, we don't know if it's going to come down to the last weekend series of the regular season, and you have some winnable or games that you need to win for a specific seeding or something. Maybe Dylan Cease has to pitch on that Sunday, and he's not ready to go on Tuesday or Wednesday.
Or maybe Michael King and Yu Darvish pitch on that Saturday and Sunday, and you have no choice but to start Dylan Cease in game 1 on the road in a wild card series.
You don't know.
The luxuries don't always line up the way.
Going to Randy Vasquez.
Go to Nestor Cortez.
The way you want them to in the postseason. We brought it up last week. I think the idea of an opener like Wandy Peralta, especially against a left-handed heavy lineup, and then turning the ball over to Dylan Cease makes a lot of sense in against certain opponents. Certainly the Los Angeles Dodgers, the way they did with Randy Vasquez, I would think that it would be perfect to do that with Dylan Cease as well. If you were facing the Dodgers, lefty against Freeman and Ohtani near the top of the order, bring in Dylan Cease for the second through maybe the 4th or 5th, after the bottom of the order, the top of the order, and then as far as he can get down in the bottom of the lineup again. And then you don't let him see a second time against that top of the order. That'll be fairly unconventional, but we saw him do it with Randy Vasquez already.
How many of us would see Dylan Cease sitting down 10 in a row and be like, keep him in there.
Oh, I know. That's
Keep
what we've been talking about. We talked about it
yesterday.
We talked about it yesterday.
Yep. His problem is that when it unravels
fast.
so fast.
It does.
By the time you're like,
you can't have a guy up every friggin' inning that he's out there. You can't have two guys double-barreled in the pen, the first, the second, the third, the fourth, the fifth.
It does feel like
I thought about
he's
that.
retired 13 in a row. He goes 3-2 on a batter. He misses by an inch. Then he gives up a single, and on the next pitch is a three-run homer. It's like,
it's 30
wait, he was
seconds.
throwing a perfect game 45 seconds ago, and now we're down 3-1.
Yeah,
How did that happen?
You can't have Morgan and Morahone warming up in the second, the third, the fourth, the fifth, to knowing he's going to implode at some point. You just can't do it.
Morahone's like, Skip, I've thrown 90
pitches down. I've started and finished the game for you.
It's our 97.3 The Fan Padres Roundtable, presented commercial free by San Diego Roundtable Pizza. It really is pizza royalty. So the Padres have now finished their season series against every American League playoff contender. And by the way, not done well. The Padres against the American League, they are pretty poor this season. Which team do you guys think is the best of the AL now that we've really seen all the ones that will probably end up in the postseason tournament? Braden, is it the Tigers? Is it the Red Sox? Is it the Mariners that we just saw? Who's the class of the American League now?
I don't know, because like when we saw Toronto, they were good, but they weren't like this good. They look pretty good. You know, Boston was everybody's pick at the beginning of the year to win the American League. I just think, like, you know, even though the Tigers have kind of scuffled in the second half, they to me are like the team that had the most complete team for the majority of the season. Plus, they got arguably the best starter in Major League Baseball, one of the best starters in Major League Baseball, and Tarek Skubal. So I don't know. It's just kind of hard based on like the way that they've all played. I mean, I thought Seattle looked pretty good this week, but I'd probably go with Detroit. I mean, at the time, you know, right around the All-Star break, I mean, that guy's like Javi Baez batting ninth, but he was hitting like close to 300 on the season, and they got a lot of guys in their lineup that can rake. They got good starting pitching. You know, bullpen's solid. You know, probably Detroit, I guess, is what comes to mind, but you know, I think, to me, I just think the National League is so much better than the American League, which makes no sense because the Padres can't beat American League teams. You know, I think most of the problems for the Padres are going to be in the National League than the American League. It seems like the American League teams all have at least one massive flaw to them.
Chris,
if you're talking Tigers, by the way, it sounds like you're promoting next year's opening series.
That's true.
That's
I'll
right.
go to you next because you're the only one not feverishly looking up stats on your phone right now. It's
looking to see like left side records.
I'm looking at standings and I'm just going. I'm
Toronto's
going
in first, right?
Are the Royals in the playoffs?
They're not out of it, but
yeah.
I'm going to be unconventional here because I really value bullpen depth, and I don't know that the Mariners have enough of it. I think they have two guys they can count on, maybe a third.
Yeah.
I think the Yankees, when everybody's right, you know, if they can get Duvall, and they got Bednar now, and now they bring, you know, they got the other guy. I think Aaron Boone with a healthy lineup can utilize his bullpen, and I wouldn't be shocked if the Yankees could make a run through that American League. I do think it's wide open, though.
All right, we got a Tigers, we got a Yankees. Paulie, who do you think is the class of the AL?
I'll go with the Blue Jays, but I will start by saying I think the World Series winner comes out of the National League this year. I think it's a little bit tighter in the National League. Now, really, the playoff field, if you're going off the you know, like the fan graphs, projections that we're checking every day, the 12 teams have almost been pretty much set in stone now at this point. Like, I think the Mariners were like 89.5% likelihood of making the playoffs, and they were the lowest. So I think I'd probably go with the Toronto Blue Jays. I would agree with Chris. I could see the Yankees going on a run. I think the Mariners have all of the right pieces. They've never even been to a World Series, so it's kind of hard for me to be like, yep, this is the year. But I mean, they have that potent lineup that can just hit you so hard in those first five guys with Suarez and Raleigh and, you know, Julio Rodriguez, and that starting pitching is scary. But it's hard to put some faith into a team that's just proven they've never been able to do it.
This is exciting for me. I could have done a roundtable draft. We've had a different selection every time. What's it? You keep it going, or are you going to repeat?
I'm going Seattle.
All right, we got four different choices now.
You know, picked at the beginning of the year. I picked
pressure.
I picked Boston.
Graby's trying to see who the other team.
I'm going to look right now.
I picked Boston at the beginning of the year, and then it looked like that was one of the dumber picks of all time, and now it looks pretty brilliant again. That wouldn't surprise me, but I came away from this series being massively impressed. And, they're so far away. You don't see them a lot. Then you start looking at the numbers as starting pitchers, and you're like, okay, George Kirby, Brian Wu, Luis Castillo, like your bullpen is a little bit suspect in the middle innings, but Matt Brash, Munoz, those guys are nasty as can be. And they're the bottom of their lineup, a little bit suspect, but man, they look really good. I hope it's not them, because I don't want to be one of those last teams without a World Series. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I think it would be cool, be a great story for Seattle, but if they get there, I don't want them to win
You
it.
can always
They
beat
do it
them
after
in
us.
the World Series as well. Audible now. It is a roundtable draft. Skraby, you either get to choose the Red Sox or the Astros.
I'll go with the Red Sox. then.
Okay, fine. They
I'll go
look
with the
good
Red
here.
Sox. For no other reason other than that they were
That
the
was
only
it.
ones left.
All right, then
the
I
Astros.
get to take the Astros.
Not
I
a
can
bad-
actually make
not
an
a bad choice.
I can make an argument about the Houston Astros. They're the team that's done it more often than anyone else in recent years. They're getting healthy with superstars like Yordan Alvarez coming back. They've got the starting pitching, I think, to make a deep run in the playoffs. And if they can't find a way to do it, they'll find a way to cheat their way to another title. So you can always make an argument for the Houston Astros being the class of the American League. All right, it's time for our seventh inning stretch. Take a little break from the baseball talk, and we're going to go into the Wayback Machine today. And I want to ask each of my colleagues, because I don't know all these stories, what was the story of your first ever professional on-air moment on the radio? Matt, where was your first on-air moment?
Oh man, this is a pretty good one.
He has a moment every day.
Okay, my first on-air moment. I was working across the street, and I was an intern, and I was sent to the grocery store to buy something, and they didn't know I was sent to buy this specific thing, and so it brought me on the air. But I was sent by one of the cast members to the grocery store to buy tampons, and so
Nice.
when we got back, they found out what I bought. And they were like, you are coming on the air right now, and you are going to tell this story about you at 9 o'clock in the morning buying tampons at Vaughn's.
So it wasn't a bit. It was like one of them grabbing you saying, can you do me a huge favor?
Yeah, yeah.
I think I know who it is.
Yeah. It was one of those things like, hey, don't tell anyone, but go
could
down
you?
there. And I was like, okay, I'm a good intern. I'm going to go do what you're saying. So I'm going to go down there. But I came back and they saw it. And first off, they were angry that I was sent for a personal errand.
Right.
But they were also like, all right, there's a bit here.
Yeah,
So,
good bit.
Yeah, that was my first experience. It was
Tomorrow morning, 7 a.m.,
interesting.
Ben buys tampons for the Ben and Wood show. Book it.
Now, Woods, were you ever on the air when you worked at a radio station in Dallas in sales?
I was on the air all the time.
You were on the air. So what was your first time?
I was the crazy 25-year-old lunatic sales guy that they would bring in. And to tell you how much radio's changed, they did a bit called Free Beer Friday. And a beer sponsor, a food sponsor, and a gentleman's club. Every Friday in the studio, beer would flow. I mean, literally naked women on a pole in the studio going bananas. And I would always make sure that I had the food sponsor or the beer sponsor.
Coming up tomorrow at 7:30 on
Free
Gwynn.
Beer Friday. And they would put me on the air. And the host, who ended up bringing me to San Diego, he goes, I don't know how your sales career going, but you're blowing it. This is where you need to be. And I'm like, well, then you get excited and you're like, well, give me a shot. And, it eventually came. But that was it. Like the crazy sales guy Woods.
Paulie, what about you?
I really don't remember like the very first time my voice went out over the radio.
Probably while you were running the board on one of the shows? Or,
Honestly, no. What it was it had to have been. I just can't pinpoint like the exact details. But when I started in radio, I was an intern over at the Mighty 1090. Did a summer internship, and then the next year I got hired as the promotions assistant. So it was a lot of going down to the racetrack or the beach or something. You're handing out stickers, and then finally they said, "Hey, we don't have anybody else, so you're going to set up the swag station, but you also have to set up the broadcast for, Coach Quintera's doing a Saturday show or something." And so you sit there, you get your headphones, you're getting the mic levels, everything good. And like, I think at one point he was like, hey, Paulie, how you doing? I'm like, hey, how's it going? Something like that. It was just very minimal. Other than that, yeah, I don't remember like the first day, but I know it was something like that.
Braden, what about you?
Well, my college radio station at TCU is a blowtorch of an antenna throughout the whole DFW area. So, I would consider that probably my first time on air for radio. I used to do this. We had to sign up for shifts as part of class, and I got the 10 p.m. to 1 a.m. college radio shift.
That's fun though.
On KTCU.
Did you play music or was it just
Yeah,
pop?
it was a music show, so it was fun. But the thing
dream.
is like during the day, Woods, we played the worst music ever.
I can relate.
It was like Americana. I don't know.
That's great stuff. I would have loved that.
No, it was like it was like Texas country and just boring country, like not like some of the stuff that
So you didn't get to pick the music.
Well, that was during the day. And then at night, anytime after 10 o'clock, they said, play whatever you want.
Safe harbor.
So, yeah.
That's a dream.
So me and the other guy that did the shift, and he brought in his buddy, and his buddy was a punter at Ole Miss. And so we'd play like alternative rock music and some good stuff. Probably a lot of stuff that 94.9 used to play back in the day.
Yeah.
And then we do bits and stuff like that, and had some fun, and we stay up till 1 a.m. And then and then with that station is, it was not commercial, so like everything had to be like underwriting stuff. We couldn't play ads, right? We were just playing stuff from Spotify through the air, jumping on whatever we wanted. Segments for like 20 minutes,
That's
maybe
elite
like
radio
3 minutes.
Right there. That's how it should be. That's how it should be.
We'd go hang out in like the common area and eat pizza and watch, Thursday night football or whatever it was. And then at the end, they only had a broadcast right for like 6 a.m. to 1 a.m. So I had to turn the signal off every single night, at 1 a.m. And it was just like, we'd sign off. We'd play some Van Halen song, the same every time, and then it would just be like dead air for like until the 6 a.m. shift. Yeah,
hilarious. It's honestly how it should be, man.
It was awesome.
They've taken away a lot of the personalities' freedom to. That's how you get to know a personality, by what they like, what they say, what they play. And they're like, nope, you're going to play this playlist.
College radio at San Diego State, they would do hour blocks, and you would sign up for a block. And like literally from, call it 8 to 9 a.m., it didn't matter what time of day or what day of the week. Like that was your block. And if you didn't show up, it would be dead air for an hour. If you did show up, like I remember one time there were like a couple of girls doing a music show or whatever, and they literally just had an iPod that they just plugged in a wire, and they were just playing songs and talking about it. And there were no copyright infringements. It was just
YouTube's not blocking you.
The guy before me he was even like it was just some random dude that would like every Thursday he had this like jazz show.
Yeah,
so like
jazz
he had
show.
like jazz show on before us,
That's
and
great,
it was like
man.
we just like hang out and wait for him to finish.
That's the best radio.
And
I
then
love best
we used to have this
the
guy.
Tim Meadows SNL sketch. It's the Quiet Storm.
Quiet Storm.
Overnight
We used
radio.
to have this guy call in too. He was called Antenna Man. He was like the craziest dude ever that would just call in and
What was his name?
Antenna Man.
Antenna Man.
He was wild, dude.
Can't buy that
There was some crazy times at college radio.
Braden brings up the going off the air song. Chris remembers this at the old 690 station. They didn't go off the air, but you had to play the Mexican national anthem.
I remember listening to
at
that as a
midnight
kid.
every single night. And my first on-air shift actually came even after the Mexican national anthem. It was so late at night, but we used to have local programming on some nights until 1 or even 2 a.m. And someone needed to do sports updates at the top and bottom of every hour. And I remember who I think it might have been Craig had to leave, and no one was there to do the 12:30 a.m. sports update. And I was like the new guy, the producer, and I'm like, can I do it? Can you let me on there? I was so nervous to give the scores of like Orioles 5, Indians 2 in a 2:30, like 12:30 in the morning.
Yeah, but you got a certain amount of time you got to get that.
3 minutes. I had 3 minutes, which was felt like an
lifetime.
eternity
That's a long
to be on the air and do a
sports
sports
update.
update. But it was a 3-minute sports update. You got the bed. It was firing. I remember my heart absolutely racing. Dude, with this sports update. Like, I'm Ben Higgins with this sports update. It was terrifying. Now, Chris, you started as a writer. Los Angeles Times. When did you
For Wolfman
switch over
Jack.
to the radio?
I was going to say I might have been on my college radio station, but radio hadn't been invented yet when I went to college. I'm just going to go. I mean, there's a few different times I started, but I think the first time I really got any traction was doing sports updates late at night that you just talked about on a weekday night when the sports doctor, John Chalesnik, had a show, and some will remember his name around here.
Yeah, Doc reached out to me last week.
He came in.
Really?
He came and
Okay,
talked
it
to
was
my
nice.
class at TCU when
I
I
went
was
to.
student there.
I took a sports radio class at Palomar, and he was the teacher.
We all know
sports
John
doctor was
Chalesnik.
doing a show, and it was late at night. Nothing was happening. He said, "Would you like to come in and do a segment with me?" And I said, "Of course." And he brought me in. We did 15 minutes. The phone rang the next day, and it was our program director, Howard Friedman. And he said, Chris, yeah. I mean, he was calling me. I was like the worst update guy. It was shocking. So I didn't understand why he was even calling. He goes, I got John Chalesnik patched through on the other line. John, are you there? Yes. Chris, you there? Yes. All right, guys, listen up. Last night, I understand, John, you brought Chris on without telling anybody about that. If you guys ever do that again, you're both fired.
Wow.
Whoa,
damn.
Next sentence. But it was quite good. I think you guys should go together.
That sounds like a program director.
And that's
right.
exactly
It does,
how
it
I
does.
got my first little thing.
That's amazing.
And it was the sports doctor. And then somebody called in and gave me the nickname of the specialist. And
That's
we
right.
started away.
Sports doctor and specialist. That's right. I remember that. I listened to that show.
There you go.
Nobody is surprised by that. Ben. Nobody is surprised.
It's our 97.3 The Fan Padres Roundtable, presented commercial free by San Diego Roundtable Pizza. All right, let's just look ahead. Padres have their next 6 between now and our next roundtable against the Twins. And Orioles seems like a great time to make some hay, but the Dodgers are playing the D-backs and the Pirates. So, I mean, how many do you have to win here? I don't think they're going to pitch Paul Skeens.
miss him.
I think they're going to miss him.
Skeens
I mean,
afraid of the Dodgers and the Bucks.
do you feel like the Padres have to go 6-0, Matt, for to gain any ground on the Dodgers? Like
No.
maybe they'll lose one.
No, the Dodgers haven't been. They haven't been invincible. They've lost to some really bad teams this year. They got swept by the Angels. They went into Colorado, split that 4-game series. I think they're. Yeah, I don't think you have to go 6-0, but you definitely have to go 4-2.
I thought so too.
5-1.
And then they swept the Cincinnati Reds, who, Chris, were the only team that had never been swept all season long.
Oh, I didn't even
Yeah,
know.
they were the only team in baseball. And of course,
Of
when you
course.
need them to win a game or two against the Dodgers, they get swept. So, I mean, do you feel like it's going to be hard to keep pace now with the Dodgers?
It seems that way. 2 games sounds like a lot more than like had the Reds won last night, and we were just 1 out.
Yep.
But we're only 1 day away again from being 1 out. So I don't worry about it. I'd like to go 5-1, but I'd mostly like to go 5-1 in these next 6 games, just to go 5-1.
Yes.
You know, I'm not going to really worry
Yeah.
about what they do. I think it's going to take 94, 95 wins now at the end. And, the Dodgers go 98, 99, then I'm going to have to probably let them have it.
Sure.
But let's just play good baseball here. And, I thank you, Ben, for making it through the whole show without asking any of us whether to move a rise.
I didn't
down
want to
in the
talk about
order.
it again,
Thank
honestly.
you so much.
I think
I'll talk about 11.
I know you will, and
Yeah,
I
go
know we'll have
Colin.
to talk about it later.
Chris, kudos to you for not coming in and saying this today on the roundtable. Well, you wanted Laureano in the 2, and you got Laureano in the 2. I would have taken bets on the air, and I would have lost my ass.
That's because I opened with it yesterday afternoon when the show
That's
was
right, you already
over.
got to
That's
do
right,
it.
you
I
already got to
was
do
a
it.
little
concerned about
I
that.
did like
That's called growth.
I think Chris made a good point, Woods, though. 5-1 is good. 5-1. Even if the Dodgers go 6-0 and you're 3
dude.
games out, 5-1's a good week. That's what you want to try to
It's
do
a
this week.
phenomenal
You're not
week.
just chasing the Dodgers though. You're chasing the Cubs, the
Phillies.
Phillies.
Yeah.
Like,
Just
you
win
just got
baseball
to
games.
win your games, and against those teams, 4-2, whether it's September, April, whatever, like 4-2 is the minimum.
Sign up for 4-2 right now.
5-1, though, I think is a target.
6-0 would be great.
Yeah, but that you can never guarantee. Something's going to usually go wrong over the course of a baseball week. Braden, 5-1, you're good.
5-1 for sure. That's what I would think. And there's the thing with like games back, you got to view it as series. Like the Padres are technically
And
3 games back.
As,
because of the
as Eno
tiebreaker.
said, get through this week. It really will be the Giants that end up deciding the division.
That's right.
If they can rise up in their remaining, I think 6 games against the 7 games against the Dodgers,
That's awesome.
That'd
then
be
the
nice.
Padres can make up some ground. If they roll
Real
over,
rivals.
Come on,
then-
Bob.
Then you might not have a chance to
Big
catch
time.
them. But we will find out, and we will talk about it next Thursday on our next San Diego Roundtable Pizza Roundtable. It really is pizza royalty. For Matt Skraby, Stephen Woods, Paul Reindl, Braden Soprenin, and Chris Ello, I'm Ben Higgins. Enjoy the rest of your Thursday from all of us here at San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. So long, everybody.
San Diego's my